Chapter 41, Rank System Characters in the novel so far. Asterisk all artwork does not belong to me. All respect goes towards the artist asterisk. You can also imagine the characters any way you want. Let me know if any of the links don't work. Mail. Jake Justice, Origin, Earth, Reincarnator / Reborn as Unknown Symbiote Spider-Man, looks like the person in the cover art. Current age, 17, past age, 21. Bloodline, unknown parents, unknown, deceased. Bruce Wayne, Dark Knight Timeline, https://www.dinoFgeek.com//movies/Christian-Bale/27816/Christian-Bale-1-was-Bruce-Wayne. This how looks like I had to go with Christian Bale lol. Ignore the actual article lol. Commissioner Gordon, Dark Knight look. Nick Fury, MCU version, Samuel Jackson. Tony Stark, MCU version. Norman Osborn, Spider-Man 1 movie original, *Oni series. Harry Osborn, Spider-1 movie original, *Oni series. Bobby Drake aka, Iceman any X-Men adaptations. Flash, Barry Allen, D.C. Miles Morales, comic book and movie Verison, older, 17. Peter Parker, imagine him any way you want, however I based this Peter off of Homecoming, but with some hints of the first Spider-Man movie. Charles Xavier, X-Men First Class movie Verison. Villains, Joker, Dark Knight Verison. The Lizard, movie version. Magneto, X-Men First Class movie version. Scarecrow, Dark Knight trilogy. Bane, Dark Knight trilogy. More to come. Female. Barbara Gordon, https://www.deviantart.com/prywinko/art/bat-girl-without-mask-717737302. Black Cat, https://riazakar.com/projects/8res6?album_id =69442. Face. Bodysuit, https://march12,000years.tumblr.com/post/18196142703/artist-chris-delera-ig-chris art. The first pic is the bodysuit she has but in black, just like the PS4 version. R18, https://www.deviantart.com/rei/art/felicia-hardy-black-cat-commission-nsfw-699535248. There are also some extra black cat pics in there. Gwen Stacy, https://www.deviantart.com/souracid/art/spider-gwen-5090192444. My fave pic and the true design of Gwen. Raven, D.C. https://www.deviantart.com/sakimi-chan/art/raven-starfire-684968674. Too many thick pics to choose from. However, this is the look she has in this novel since she is a little bit older in this book by 2 years, 15-17. Tara, D.C. https://www.pinterest.it/pin/6568219268782485991. I wanted a more realistic version of Tara from Teen Titans. Mary Jane, https://www.deviantart.com/nopi/art/mary-jane-watson-787453675. Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, https://www.pinterest.com/pin/5644981345366480669/?LP=true. Couldn't choose one, so here is a mix of ones. First pic is way too thick lol. Underscore 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 underscore. My rank for the story, you can use both scales if you like for reference. Note, powers are based on the MCU, but also slightly on the comics. I won't get everything right lol. Jake's justice tier is still unknown. Normal humans with no superpowers are granted no rank of power. Axe, Mary Jane. C tier, humans who have no power, however their smarts, mortal feats, and weapon power/overall power of normal humans like wealth, technology, and military might. Axe, Kingpin, Nick Fury, Joker, Batman, Nightwing, and etc. Note, some of the names listed above can be classified as Tier B. B tier humans who have above average superpowers. Axe, Iceman, Flash, Spider-Man, most mutants, etc. Normally they are street/city destroyers, however, they cannot destroy mountain or large land masses. Powers are limited to close combat. A tier high power superheroes and villains. Axe, Magneto, Raven, Doctor Strange, Wonder Woman, etc. Superheroes/villains who can destroy cities and large landscapes, bend time and reality, mostly magic and telekinesis users. S-tier supreme beings, Axe, Superman, Thor, etc., gods and superheroes who could move planets or destroy planets, Thanos. SS-tier all-powerful beings, above God, Transcendence, X, the Beyonder original rank. Plus tier 11, lower dimensional. Dash 11C, point level. 0-dimensional characters and those qualitatively inferior to them. Dash 11B, line level. 1-dimensional characters. Dash 11A, plane level. 2-dimensional characters. Plus tier 10, regular. Dash 10C, below average level. Physically impaired humans. Small animals. Dash 10B, average level. Normal human characters. Dash 10A, athlete level. Athletes, most fighting characters from action movies. Plus tier 9, superhuman. Dash 9C, street level. Peak humans to low superhuman. Few physically very strong Olympic level athletes and martial artists in real life. Most protagonists and final villains from action/martial arts movies. Large animals. Dash 9B, wall level. Characters/weapons who can destroy a wall or those who can easily harm characters with wall level durability. Very large animals. Dash 9A, small building level. Characters/weapons who can destroy a room or a small building, or those who can easily harm characters with room level durability. Extremely large animals. Plus tier 8, urban. Dash 8C, building level. Characters/weapons who can destroy a building, or those who can easily harm characters with building level durability. High 8C, large building level. Characters/weapons who can destroy a large building or a small skyscraper, or those who can easily harm characters with large building level durability. Dash 8B, city block level. Characters/weapons who can destroy a city block, those who can easily harm characters with city block level durability. Dash 8A, multi-city block level. Characters/weapons who can destroy multiple city blocks or those who can easily harm characters with multi-city block level durability. Plus tier 7, nuclear. Low 7C, small town level. Characters who can destroy a small town or settlement, or those who can easily harm characters with small town level durability. Dash 7C, town level. Characters who can destroy a town, or those who can easily harm characters with town level durability. High 7C, large town level. Characters who can destroy a large town, or those who can easily harm characters with large town level durability. Low 7B, small city level. Characters who can destroy a small city or those who can easily harm characters with small city level durability. Dash 7B, city level. Characters/weapons who can destroy a city or those who can easily harm characters with city level durability. Dash 7A, mountain level. Characters/weapons who can destroy a mountain, or those who can easily harm characters with mountain level durability. High 7A, large mountain level. Characters who can destroy a large mountain, or those who can easily harm characters with large mountain level durability. Plus tier 6, tectonic. Dash 6C, island level. Characters/weapons who can destroy an island or those who can easily harm characters with island level durability. High 6C, large island level. Characters who can destroy a large island or those who can easily harm characters with large island level durability. Low 6B, small country level. Characters who can destroy a small country, or those who can easily harm characters with small country level durability. Dash 6B, country level. Characters who can destroy a country, or those who can easily harm characters with country level durability. High 6B, large country level. Characters who can destroy a large country, or those who can easily harm characters with large country level durability. Dash 6A, continent level. Characters who can destroy a continent or those who can easily harm characters with continent level durability. High 6A, multi-continent level. Characters who can destroy multiple continents or those who can easily harm characters with multi-continent level durability. Plus tier 5, planetary. Dash 5C, moon level. Characters who can destroy a moon, or an astrological object of similar proportion. Low 5B, small planet level. Characters who can destroy a small planet or those who can easily harm characters with small planet level durability. Dash 5B, planet level. Characters who can create/destroy a planet. Dash 5A, large planet level. Characters who can create/destroy large gas giants such as Jupiter and Saturn. High 5A, dwarf star level. Characters who can create/destroy very small stars. Plus tier 4, stellar. Low 4C, small star level. Characters who can create/destroy small stars. Dash 4C, star level. Characters who can create/destroy a star. High 4C, large star level. Characters who can create/destroy a large star. Dash 4B, solar system level. Characters who can create/destroy a solar system. Dash 4A, multi-solar system level. Characters who can create/destroy multiple solar systems. Plus tier 3, cosmic. Dash 3C, galaxy level. Characters who can create/destroy a galaxy. Dash 3B, multi-galaxy level. Characters who can create/destroy multiple galaxies. Dash 3A, universe level. This category is separated in the following manner. Asterisk universe level, characters who can destroy all of the physical matter within an observable universe at full power. More specifically, usually via an explosion, omnidirectional energy blast, or a shockwave, that encompasses all of the stars and planets within a universe. High universe level, characters who have an infinite degree of 3-dimensional power. Alternately 4-dimensional power that is shown as completely qualitatively superior to 3-dimensional beings, but is less than universal in scale, or that allows them to create large parts of a universal continuum. Take note that 4D power should logically always be superior to countably infinite 3D power, so characters within this tier are not necessarily comparable. Also take note that we consider most small-scale time-space abilities as hacks, not as AP. Plus Tier 2, Multiversal. -2C, low multiverse level. This category is separated in the following manner. Asterisk universe level plus, low 2C, this is for characters who can destroy and slash or create the entire 4-dimensional spacetime of a single universe, not just the physical matter within one. For example, an entire timeline. Low multiverse level, characters who can destroy and slash or create up to 1000 universal spacetime continuums. The power difference between low 2C and 2C characters is not possible to exactly quantify, given that the latter category has to breach the distance between universes along a 5-dimensional axis. -2B, multiverse level. Characters who can create and slash or destroy 1001 to any higher finite number of universal 4-dimensional spacetime continuums. -2A, multiverse level plus. This category is separated in the following manner. Multiverse level plus, characters who can destroy and slash or create a countably infinite number of 4-dimensional universal spacetime continuums. Take note that the universes are technically lined up along a 5-dimensional axis, but that their geometrical size still amounts to 0 within this scale. High multiverse level plus, characters who are 5-dimensional, and slash or can destroy and slash or create 5-dimensional spacetime constructs of insignificant size. Characters who can destroy and slash or create an uncountably infinite number of universes may potentially also be assigned this tier, as their geometrical 5D size can be higher than 0. Plus Tier 1, extra-dimensional. -1C, complex multiverse level. These are 6-11-dimensional characters. Even 6-dimensional characters can logically easily destroy a more than accountably infinite number of 5-dimensional spacetime continuums, and 7-dimensional characters exceed that scale a more than accountably infinite number of times, and so onwards. However, these characters do not exceed the 11-dimensional scale of the complete totality of a full multiverse, as defined by M-theory. Asterisk this category is separated in the following manner. Low complex multiverse level, 6-dimensional characters. Complex multiverse level, 7-dimensional, 8-dimensional, and 9-dimensional characters. Alternatively, ones that are positioned at an unknown/unspecified level within this category. High complex multiverse level, 10-dimensional and 11-dimensional characters. -1B, hyperverse level, 12-dimensional beings and above. These are characters that are beyond complex multiversal scale. Hyperverse in this case comes from two words, hyper, which is used in mathematics to designate higher dimensional space, and something extreme, above or beyond the usual level, as well as verse as a short for universe. So it is intended as a description of a superior higher dimensional existence, beyond conventional reality. 12-dimensional characters are a more than accountably infinite number of times greater than a full complex M-theory multiverse. The 13-dimensional character is more than accountably infinite number of times greater than that, and so onwards. Asterisk this category is separated in the following manner. Hyperverse level, characters with a finite number of dimensions greater than 11. High hyperverse level, infinite dimensional Hilbert space characters. Take note that even if a character is a more than accountably infinite number of times superior to an infinite dimensional space, or similar, it would still usually only qualify for high 1B, as long as the character does not transcend the concepts of time and space altogether. -1A, outerverse level. Characters that have no dimensional limitations. Asterisk basically, a being or an object which is outside and beyond all dimensions of time and space. This is something completely formless, abstract, metaphysical, and transcendental. The usual scale does not make sense against a beyond-dimensional object. Such beings cannot be affected by destruction within the dimensions of time and space, or physical matter and energy. This space in which there is no dimension can be the background for any dimensional space. Within such a beyond-dimensional space, a dimensional structure with any number of dimensions can be placed, because there are no restrictions regarding dimensions. Note that all Tier 1A characters have qualitative superiority over dimensional structures and concepts. Also, the mere capability to existing in a beyond-dimensional domain does not qualify a character as a beyond-dimensional being. There are two options in order to qualify for this tier. There should either be a qualitative superiority over infinite dimensions, or the superiority over the concept of dimensions, in general, should be clearly explained. Plus Tier 0, boundless. High outerverse level. Characters that far exceed the requirements for Tier 1A. Such characters will usually stand hierarchically above everything, including existence and non-existence, possibility, causality, dualism, the concepts of life and death, etc. Asterisk take note that being infinitely superior to a regular 1A character does not automatically make another character qualify for a Tier 0 rating. The ones that do qualify should be so much higher than baseline 1A characters that it cannot be estimated or comprehended from their perspectives. That is, to even be considered for Tier 0, a character must at the very least transcend baseline 1A characters in the same manner that they exceed ones who are bound by dimensions. A/N, yes, this is a lot to take in. I might just make a separate page just for the characters. This chapter will not be deleted, I will be adding more things to it as the story goes on. So far Jake's tier is unknown, so no one knows his true powers, but you can give a guess if you like. Anyways, I will be posting another chapter that has details of my Patreon page and some other interesting things. For now, I will be writing the newest chapters, all which will be released tomorrow since I am way too tired to do anything today, but I can answer your questions. So if you have any questions, ask away. BTW, I will be having a Patreon deal if I reach $200 in support that a 20+ chapter mass release will happen. My birthday is coming up soon, so I want to start this year of April with a bang. This story has made it to top 5 fanfics, trying to break some records. Well, see you next chapter. Chapter 42, Hierarchy PT3. Jake tested out the reflexes of Peter, Gwen, and Miles all by just playing some basketball. He, of course, dominated them in every way possible. He used to play varsity basketball back in his home world and was the top 3 players in his class. Jake did quick-step layups, Euro steps, and even dunked over Miles, Peter, and Gwen. He didn't care who he was playing against, he just wanted to win. Well, and he wanted to see if Miles, Peter, and Gwen had any semblance of Spider-Man superpowers. Well, it looks like none of them can jump up as high as I can, they can't run faster than me, and their reflexes seem to be like normal. Can it be that they are simply hiding their superpowers from me? Or do they really have no superpowers at all? Jake shoots a 3-pointer over Peter and Gwen, who double-teamed him. The basketball goes perfectly inside the net. That's impossible? Are you just good at everything? Gwen huffed with an annoyed and flustered face. You are freaking fast. I couldn't even block any of your shoots. I am pretty sure you have some sort of superpowers. Miles said as tried to catch his breath. He was the only way who tried his hardest against Jake in basketball since he was in the basketball team in Midtown Academy. I got no powers, just skill, Jake said with a confident grin. Peter barely played that good against Jake, but it didn't matter to him. He wasn't usually the type to play sports, however, he still tried to play some basketball with his new friends, Miles and Jake. You should really try out for the basketball team, Peter said as walked over to a water fountain and drank some much-needed water. Yeah, I think you should as well, you will definitely be a pro, even though I think you are cheating. Gwen playfully winked as she sat on nearby metal bleachers to rest and drink from a water bottle. No cheating, I am just better than you, Jake said while snatching away Gwen's water bottle and then drinks her water. Hey, you are such a jerk. Gwen smacks Jake's shoulders with an angered face. You guys kind of look like a good couple, Peter says with a witty smirk. Somehow Peter always knew how to understand people and their emotions. He was smart when it came to reading down situations. What? Heck no, I wouldn't be caught dead with someone as rude and cold as Jake. Gwen crossed her arms and looks away from Jake. She was obviously blushing. Her cheeks became a beet red color. Jake almost spit out water from his mouth. You are a sly one, Peter. Then again, you are the original Spider-Man. Speaking of which, it's about time I asked the burning question. So do any of you guys have superpowers? Jake sternly asked with a serious face. If you count being super smart as a superpower, then yes. I don't shoot ice out of my hands like Bobby, nor do I summon astral projection shadows like Raven. So yup, guess I am pretty normal. Well, besides the fact that I read just about every science book in existence and I eat way too much pizza, Peter with an awkward chuckle. Yeah, same here. I have no powers whatsoever. But I can do the splits if that counts as a superpower, giggles Gwen as jumps off the bleachers and does a perfect gymnastic split on the basketball court. Whoa, that's so cool. Miles' eyes widen and his jaw drops. So Peter has no powers, but he is still book smart and just smart overall, while Gwen has no powers, but she is overly flexible and allithic. Jake couldn't help but glance at her sexy slender body do the splits. Jake was speechless. Her bubble butt was jiggling as she spread her long legs wider and wider. Master likes what he sees. The mating percentage has increased from 50% to 80%. Butterbots chimes. Shut the fuck up. Jake whispers to his annoying sentient invention as he zips up his backpack. Were you just talking to your backpack right now? Gwen and Miles both say while pointing at Jake. Nah, words just slipped out of my mouth, Jake said with narrowed eyes as he looks at Butterbot, who was in his Iron Man Mark III form. The colors of the robot were yellow, red, and black. Kind of like Bumblebee from the Transformers movies fusing with Iron Man. How the fuck did this thing even become sentient? Did it look through the blueprints of my newly forged destroyer power suit? Whatever, that doesn't matter now. Just one more question. Jake turns at Miles. How about you? Do you have any powers? Jake asked. He wanted at least one of these 3 people to have some kind of Spider-Man powers. Well, I can do this cool thing that makes my fingers shot out some sparks. Miles exclaimed with a wide smile. Stand back and be amazed. He lifts up his hands and wiggles his finger together to create some kind of friction. Nothing happens. Were we supposed to see something? Gwen said while scratching the back her head. The school bell ring? I guess that's time for me to bounce. See you fools later, Gwen says while doing a peace out sign. Wait, I am not lying. Look. Miles extends out his fingers. Suddenly small sparks of electricity shoot out from his fingertips. This wasn't exactly electric powers, it was a Venom Strike power that looks like conducted electricity. This type of power was indeed a Spider-Man type of power. Venom Strike could paralyze opponents and sometimes even knock them out. It is powerful enough to knock out someone of a large size like Kingpin. But it did not inject lethal venom inside someone's body. Zap, more tiny sparks come out Miles' fingertips. Whoa, did you see that? Peter jumped back and grabbed Jake's shoulder with a shocked face. Don't touch me, Jake snarls with a displeased look. Oh sorry, I just didn't know Miles had any superpowers. Peter shouted. We're inspecting Miles' sparks and analyzing his powers as he tipped up his glasses. Dang, I never know he had powers either. And you sat next to us in class this whole time, Gwen said with her sapphire eyes twinkling. That's cause you never talked to me, Miles proudly said while doing a superhero stance and flexing his biceps. So of all people, Miles Morales has Spider-Man powers. Can't say that I am shocked. That means Peter or Gwen haven't gotten their radioactive spider bites yet. I wonder if Miles can turn invisible? He probably doesn't even know how to fully use his superpowers. Damn, there are still so many questions running through my mind. This new world just keeps on surprising me. Jake grabs his backpack and walks out of the gym. As Jake walks out, he sees a bunch of stronger jock students picking on weaker geeky students on the basketball court. The alphas were clearly picking on the betas. Each superpowered jock bully did some extreme hazing to the students who had no powers. The messed up sight in front of Jake's eyes was a diffidently cruel and merciless hierarchy at its finest. It was every student for themselves. The bullies run amok in this academy. The top-tier superpower students ruled on the top as kings, while the weaker students were mere insects. Jake felt disgusted at such a sight. Hatred and rage were burning deep inside of him. It was just like back at his home world, where everyone always picked on the weak and treated them like trash. His Earth was no different than this one. The only difference is that superpowers existed in this new world. Jake was going to change the hierarchy of this school no matter what. Jake's next class was Advanced Technologies, a class which would prove itself useful, or so he thought, since he already knew just about everything when it came to technology, thanks to his high IQ and super genius mind. However, even if someone is gifted with great knowledge, one person can't know everything. It is virtually impossible to know about every knowledge bestowed upon the universe. Jake had one huge question brewing inside of his mind. If this really is a D.C and Marvel fused world, then why hasn't the most powerful villains already teamed up yet? In fact, why hasn't any god-tier villains destroyed this planet yet? Everything seems so normal, knowing that such titans of power like Thanos and Galactus might exist in this world. I have to be on alert at all times. I can't let anyone or anything distract me from my main mission. I need to hurry up and get out of this academy as soon as possible so I can get my newly forged power suit working by controlling my symbiote powers, he heavily thought to himself as he went to his next class. Even though Jake was enjoying meeting new people around his age and getting to actually see Peter Parker in person as well as Gwen and Miles, he still was focused on his plans to become the most powerful Spider-Man. However, this academy did work as a perfect place to keep his secret identity hidden. In here he was just Jake Justice, the new kid. Jake opens the door and walks inside a dome-like classroom, kind of like the Colosseum in Rome. His eyes scanned the area with his spider sight to spot out any powerful superpowers in the classroom. Only one power signature was off-balanced, and it was giving Jake a slight piercing headache. Also, it seems someone is quite late, said the professor of the class as he tipped up his sleek glasses and places down a textbook. This man looked to be in his mid-40s with slicked back brown hair and a cleanly shaven beard. Ha ha ha. A bunch of students laughs at Jake for being super late to class. Jake flips over his wristwatch and sees that he is 20 minutes late to class. He was too caught up on figuring out if Peter and his new friends had any Spider-Man powers. Crap. Jake walks around to the dome classroom to find a seat. Hey, isn't that the new kid who beat up Bobby Drake and Flash? He was the one who actually protected Peter Parker, whispers some female and male students. Gossip about Jake was already spreading like a wildfire. Yeah, I even saw him stand up to Raven. He must really have a death wish, says another student who had greenish hair. He kind of looked like a mutant. But we all know who this kid really was. Jake tosses down his bag on top of desk nearby some random girl and sits down. What is your name? I have not seen your face around here. The professor walks around the classroom in a vexing manner, kind of like Snape from Harry Potter. Jake Justice, Jake quickly said in an overly confident manner as he coolly kicked up both legs on top of his desk. What kind of last name is that? Chuckle a bunch of students while glaring at Jake with eyes of interest and eyes of hate, mostly from Flash, who was all the way at the top seats of the class leaning back on his chair like some king. His other powerful friends were next to him. Jake Justice, nice to have you here. My name is Eric Lenshair. I will be your instructor for today. In today's class, you will be pairing up in groups of 2. You will be staying with your teammate for the rest of the semester. Now open your textbook to page 350, Professor Eric calmly said as he jotted down some math equations on the old-fashioned chalkboard. Hey, I didn't know you would be in the same class. I want to say thank you for standing up for Peter and protecting him from Flash and Bobby, kindly says a sweet voice from the right side of his seat. Jake turns around and Lord behold, he sees MJ right in front of him. Oh, so this is the new student I have been hearing so much about. Also thanks on my behalf. I always try to stand up for the weaker kids in this school as well, but there are just too many bullies in this academy. Harry Osborn barges in the convo with a light smile as he extends out his hands for Jake to shake. Jake shakes his hands and then focuses his attention MJ. Her freckled face and bright emerald eyes look amazing up close. It was like he was staring at a scarlet-haired maiden who fell from the heavens. MJ really was a beautiful girl, and up close she looked even more stunning. Jake knew it was wrong to be so close to her, but then again he wasn't Peter Parker. If he wanted to take MJ from himself, he could do it in a snap. Yet it would shatter and break Peter's heart if he did. This girl meant everything to Peter Parker. In his eyes she was the perfect girl. She was the one for him, the girl of his dreams. Peter would do anything for MJ. I have to keep my cool, Jake said to himself with a sigh, but his primal instincts were kicking in. MJ's sweet rosy scent, gorgeous curvy body, and heartwarming bright smile were making Jake's heart beat faster. Things were about to get weird. Chapter 43, News. Chapter 44, Hierarchy PT4. Technology has advanced humans faster than any other field of sciences. It is what makes us evolve and prosper in life. Without technology, we will still be in our primal evolution. Technologies are the tools and backbones of our human evolution. I doubt we would go very far as a species without creating technology that helps us survive in everyday life. Take example, the first humans built tools to hunt and kill prey, tools such as carved wooden spears and rugged rocks formed as daggers. Even the invention of fire has taken us very far. But that begs the question, can we evolve more than what we already are? Is there more in life than just being human? That's why it fascinates me to see such beings like mutants, inhumans, and superheroes coexist with humans. Can it be possible for everyone to gain powers? Imagine what kind of world that would be. Professor Eric says without reading the textbook, he was merely just speaking about what he had in his mind at the moment. A sort of intellectual thought. I imagine it would be a world full of violence and chaos. We can't even keep mutants and superpower humans in check in this academy, pointed Harry Osborn, not in a snide way, more like in a vigilant way. Indeed, how insightful of you, Harry. However, isn't that the case right now? With more mutants and superpower humans, advanced armies and law enforcement can be built with these two forces joined together. This new army of super soldiers will lock away anyone who dare uses their powers for evil. There is always ways to control those who wrongly use their powers. This world has changed, and I think we ourselves should change as well. We should reach the apex of our evolution with the power of our minds and the new technologies we build. Professor Eric sits down in his desk chair and crosses one of his legs. Jake kind of agreed with Professor Eric, who seemed to be smarter than everyone in the room, well aside from Jake himself. Who exactly is this person? I get this strange vibe like he is reading everyone's mind in the classroom. I have to keep a close eye on him. He slightly activates his spider sight to see if Professor Eric had any power aura. There were no signs of superpowers or mutant powers flowing inside of Professor Eric's body. He was a normal human, or so it seemed. Jake's spider sense was telling him otherwise. The hairs on his forearm slightly moved up. Before class ends, I will be handing out a quick pop quiz. After that, you will have to choose your teammate and your project will be assigned tomorrow. Remember, this project assignment is big enough to land you an internship in Stark Industries. Professor Eric informed everyone. Ugh. Every student groaned when they heard the ball-busting word pop quiz. Jake waits for his quiz to be handed to him. For any normal human, the quiz really was a bastard of a quiz. There was no multiple choice. You had to write down each and every programming equation, which ruins any chance of cheating. Well, if anyone cheated, then they will quickly be expelled. There was a huge sign on top of Professor Eric that said no cheating allowed. Pretty straightforward. Every student's face displayed sheer hatred for the impossible quiz in front of them. The quizzes in this class were actually worth a lot of points. No curves were given since Eric was a strict teacher. Nothing in the world sucks more than a pop quiz, well, except for school itself, that is. Jake glances at the quiz with one eye. His face was clearly bored with such an easy, mindless task. In less than 5 seconds, Jake wrote down all the answers and walked over to the professor to turn in the quiz. What? Are you freaking kidding me? The nerve of this bastard? There is no way you finished that quiz so fast. Flash loses his mind as his ego is being stabbed by Jake's smarts. Yeah, you should change your name from Flash to Last. Jake tried to come up with a good pun, but it sounded cringe. Isn't this interesting? Normally it would take 5 minutes for my smartest students to answer all 25 questions. But you did it in less than a minute. Quite the feat. Let's see if you even answered the questions correctly. If you fail this quiz, then everyone fails. If you pass, then I will let everyone off the hook for today's quiz. Sounds like a fair wager. Since you have the guts to finish the quiz so quickly, Professor Eric looks over the quiz and his eyes widen as he jots down on Jake's quiz. His eyes couldn't believe what he had seen. It had been years since he had seen anyone this smart in his life, someone of his same caliber. It was a 100% quiz grade. Jake had outsmarted the professor and everyone in this classroom without them even writing on the quiz. You may have the past, but everyone still takes the quiz, Professor Eric says with a serious face. He didn't want to let anyone else off so easily. That, and his ego was slightly stabbed. Ah, come on. Loudly sighed of a bunch of students. You heard me. Professor Eric said as he looked over Jake's quiz once more. The idea of someone being as smart as him baffled his mind. After all, Professor Eric was the one who created the quiz himself. Jake waits for everyone to be finished with the quiz. As expected, Peter Parker finishes next. It actually took him 4 minutes to finish, 1 minute before the professor's allotted time. Barbara finishes at the same time. She didn't even try in the quiz. She had better things to do. And Harry finishes the quiz in 7 minutes. After these 3 geniuses finished the quiz, then the rest of the students finished after 10 minutes, including Bobby and Flash, who didn't study for the quiz. Everyone now turned their test and started to choose their teammates. Most people chose the person sitting next to them. Jake turns and looks at MJ, who is literally eyeing him down with her gleaming emerald eyes of lust and admiration. She was super impressed that Jake finished the very impossible quiz in less than 1 minute. Even though most of the students finished their test, none were sure to pass. Aside from Peter, Harry, and Bara, 90% grade. So for MJ to see such a display of sheer smarts and also his chivalrous demeanor when he saved Peter from getting his ass kicked, she couldn't help but fall for Jake. He was everything she wanted in a man and more. His good looks were also a plus for her. She had never seen someone so handsome and overall perfect in her life. "Do you mind if we work together?" shyly asked MJ to Jake, who at the moment was checking the specs of Butterbot and customizing his power suit/superpowers in his system. Butterbot has somehow morphed into a sentient life form. He even has his own arc reactor. How the hell is this possible? It only took me less than a minute to construct and program this robot. Huh? Who is talking to me? Jake turns his head and his daze is broken by MJ waving and talking louder to Jake to gain his attention. "Hey, over here? Am I invisible or something?" MJ says as she lightly pokes Jake on his chest. "Well, you are way too white," Jake said. His words slipped right of his mouth. Excuse me." MJ eyes narrowed, then she giggled. "You really are a strange one. I was asking if you wanted to be teammates for the project assignment? And yes, I kind of need a tan." She crosses her slender legs and leans closer to Jake and a seductive pose. Peter goes down towards MJ direction and sees her flirting with Jake. A sudden rage of anger overfills his body. For years Peter had tried to talk to MJ and ask her out on a date. In a less than a day Jake had her tied around his fingertips like some playboy. Peter's heart almost shatters. He hoped that his new friend would not betray him. MJ meant everything to him. "Fine, let's team up," Jake simply said with a monotone voice. "Excellent. Here is my number. I will try to be the best partner I can be." MJ awkwardly writes down her number on a napkin and passes it over to Jake. Peter clenched his fists, A/N, "Hey Arthur meme style. I hope you don't betray my trust," he thought to himself, as he saw his new friend slowly take away the girl of his dreams. Jake was truly the apex Spider-Man. He was getting girls without even trying. "Yo Peter, want to team up?" exclaims Harry as he waves him over and playfully slaps his back in a brotherly way. "Sure," Peter said with clear sadness in his dark brown eyes. 5 minutes pass and Jake quickly gets MJ's phone number and leaves the class with Peter. Jake goes to his final class and what he sees surprises him to his core. It was the one woman he did not want to meet in this academy. Chapter 45, Hierarchy Finale. The final class of the day was literature and mathematics. This was a more chill class. Jake could tell because everyone was just laying back in their seats. Others were even sleeping in class. "All right, everyone, pay attention. I don't have time for any shenanigans. That includes you, Porky Pig," shouts a man named Wade as he walks in with a briefcase that was filled with lube and furry handcuffs. He points at a chubby kid sitting next to Peter Parker. This young pudgy teenager was Peter's best friend and his name was Ned Leeds, Spider-Man Homecoming. "I will like to introduce you the subsite teacher and perhaps permanent teacher since I have some important business to deal with." He moves 2 fingers up and down like bunny ears in a sarcastic manner. "Go ahead, honey, and tell the students your name, you wonderful stunning smart woman. Oh, look at the time, I shall be off." Wade rushes out the classroom like an Olympic sprinter. It looked like he was forced to be the teacher of this class. Maybe this was some form of punishment Charles Xavier had given to him. Who knows? "Hello everyone. My name is Felicia. It's nice to meet all of you," Felicia said with a bright cheery smile as she writes down her full name on the board and cutely tips down her sleek glasses. All the students gawked at her slender allothic hourglass body frame and flawless busta curves that filled out her white button dress shirt and short black skirt. She was also wearing black high heels. She looked beyond gorgeous, like a top-tier supermodel teacher. She was deemed the hot teacher. Oh shit, Jake was not liking this predicament. What were the chances that Black Cat would be his literature teacher? There is no way she knows who I am. I just have to play it cool. He tries to hide his face by putting a hoodie over his head, but he quickly thought would be too suspicious if he did. Jake already planned ahead for the people he meets. Right now his eye color was icy blue, which was good in many ways. If his eyes were to turn a dark red, then he would expose himself as the Dark Spider, because when he attacks at night, his eye color would atomically change to a glowing red, and he used these eyes to scare off enemies. He can change his eye color to any color and even his face. He chose the blue color right now since it was a color that symbolized being heroic. There won't be much I will go over today, so all of you can leave early. But know this, I won't go easy on you guys. I can be a tough teacher. Felicia grabs a ruler and smacks it on top of Jake's wooden desk. WTF, Jake looks up at Felicia with a stunned look on his face. Was Felicia testing his patience? Did she have a feeling that Jake was the Dark Spider? He couldn't trust her. This psycho has to be eliminated. Jake stares at her massive flesh mountains which dangled over his desk with a seductive jiggle. Felicia was really close to him. He could smell her flowery perfume and lotion skin. I suggest you all find someone to team up with. Form a study group. There will be an English essay which is worth 70% of your grade. Well, go ahead and group up. In this academy, we pride ourselves in working in teams. It brings us closer together. Felicia softly rubs her fingers on Jake's desk. Her lustful sapphire eyes beam at him. She must have put on some contact lenses to cover up her identity. Jake and Black Cat were similar in many ways. For one, they were most definitely vigilantes. Well, not so much for Black Cat, who only steals from the wealthy, but she kept all the money for herself like a sly vixen. Jake, on the other hand, hunted down villains who had powers and devoured them, only for now, but villains or superheroes didn't matter to him, as long as he could steal their powers and become more powerful. He also sent captured non-power criminals to law enforcement. All the other boy students looked at Jake with jealousy in their eyes. They were envious of Jake getting all the attention from the new smoking hot teacher with a banging body. Just like before, the students chose their teammates. Hey, Peter, want to team up? Jake asked with a small smirk and wave. Peter went with his nerdy friend Ned and neglected any kind of help from Jake. It might be because MJ was hitting on Jake, or it could be something else. Damn, Peter really puts MJ up high on the pedestal. Jake sighed. He actually wanted to talk to Peter and tell him he had no feelings for MJ or for any girl at the moment, aside from Gwen. The whole day Jake was thinking about her angelic face and breathtaking smile, as well as her chill attitude. It seemed that everyone had chosen their teammates and the only person that was left was Jake and Raven. Both had no one that wanted to team up with them. Screw that. No way in hell I am working with that crazy goth chick. Jake twirls around his pen and looks away from Raven. Wait. This can be a good chance to ask her how she controls her dark astral projection and dark magic powers. I can use this newfound knowledge against the symbiotes living in my body to control them. If Raven can control her demon and darkness powers, then it will be worth a shot. Raven seems just fine by herself. In fact, she wanted to be alone. Jake walks over to her. Ugh, not you. You are the last person I want to see. What do you want? Groans Raven while rolling her eyes. I want to be your teammate, Jake said. Raven frustratedly rubs her forehead and tries to hold back her cheeks from blushing. It was quite adorable seeing a demoness all flustered over being partners. Fine. Whatever. But if you dare touch me again, you will lose your arm, Raven snarled. I guess that's the risk I have to take, Jake said with a grin as he sat next to Raven. Jake tries to stir up any convo with Raven, but his attempts were fruitless. She wanted nothing to do with Jake and his egotistical behavior, even though she was slightly turned on by his alpha attitude. She didn't like the fact that he embarrassed her in front of everyone. No one had ever stood up to Raven as Jake did. Everyone was afraid at Raven for some reason. It was like she was a monster. Jake could understand why people feared her. She was cold and straightforward. She told anyone how it was, no strings attached, no bullshit. If she didn't like you, then she didn't like you. That's simple. The bell rings and class quickly ends. Do you mind if I get your phone number? Jake asked. Keep dreaming. Raven stands up and walks away from Jake. His charms weren't working at all. She was a tough girl to get, that was a fact. I have to find something that will gain her interest. Come on, think of something. I got it. Jake knew he had to take this risk. He quickly grabs Raven's arm and spins her around to face him. If you give me your number, then I can buy you any book you want. Doesn't matter the price, it can even be an ancient spell book, Jake offers her. He knew Raven loved books since she was always reading every time he saw her today. Without even saying a word, Raven fiercely slaps Jake right on the cheeks. His head jerks to the side. Raven then storms out of the classroom. Jake grabs his reddened cheeks. He didn't feel any kind of pain, but that was one damn hard slap. Oh damn. Miles jumps on from his seat. Every student left the room as well with shocked faces. Raven's slap alone would have knocked out a mortal human. Hence the reason why not many people messed around with her. I can already tell that this is going to be an interesting year, Miles said as he went out the classroom door. Peter and Ned followed right behind. Jake was the last one to leave the door until he was stopped by Felicia. You are kind of in my way, Jake said. He wanted this day to be over with. Oh sorry, I just have this feeling I have met you before. By the way, you smell really good. Felicia moves her face closer to Jake and takes a whiff of his scent. Yeah, I don't think we've met before, Jake replied as goes out the door. To avoid any more awkward conversations with Felicia, he already knew she was Black Cat. He knew that she had a lot of tricks up her sleeves. She may be flirtatious, but she was sly, vexing, and cunning all at the same time. Felicia was a master at manipulating. Guess she has something in common with Jake. Feklia just giggled. Well, I look forward to being your teacher. She picks up her books and seductively walks out the door like she was on a catwalk. Jake couldn't keep his eyes off her amazing busted body. I mean, who could? But he had to fight temptation. She could ruin his plans and expose him as the infamous Dark Spider. Why are girls so crazy? Jake said to himself. He didn't know much longer his dragon can stay put until it was unleashed. Not as crazy as you, my creator. Butterbot adds in as its orb-like eyes glowed. You know, the first thing I am going to do when I get home is to modify you. Maybe I can use you in combat. Jake said as he walked out the door. I will fight alongside my creator till the end. Butterbot says in a robotic echoey voice. Perhaps it was lying. That's how sentient this robot was. It actually had a mind that can outsmart anyone. It didn't want to be a butter spreader anymore. It wanted domination over its creator. Jake is almost out of the academy. Yo Jake, you down to chill tomorrow? Miles says with thumbs up. Hell yeah, Jake said as he did a thumbs up as well. Out of all the people in the academy, Miles was the easiest to talk to. He was so lax and cool. Cool? You mind if we walk with you? Miles said with Peter, Ned, and now Gwen begins walking over his way. MJ and Harry also walk over to Jake. Hey, see you in class tomorrow. That was gutsy of you finishing that quiz so quickly in front of Professor Eric. Harry said with a chuckle. Yeah, I really hope we can create a project that is good enough to get us in Stark Industries. MJ said with a smile while holding up her books against her elegant chest. Jake just nodded his head without giving more insight into MJ's words. As for Harry, Jake thought of Harry as someone who was much like him, so his friendship was mutual. Actually, all of his friendships were mutual right now. He had only met these much people only in one day. It was going to take time to know all of them. Though the most important group of people he met today was Peter, Miles, and Gwen. This was officially called the Spider Squad. It sounds like something Miles or Peter would say. Jake knew that these people would be crucial for him to grow his Spider-Man powers. It was just odd that Miles was the only one with Spider-Man powers. All 4 of the teens talk for 5 minutes. Jake walks with the Spider Squad outside the Academy outdoor campus, which was super huge. Midtown Academy consisted of 2 main parts, which were the indoor marble, wood, metal wall, and floor layout, old school/advanced college look, and the outdoors area, which was a large garden with forest trees kind of like the X Mansion. In the background of the pine and oak trees, Headmaster Xavier is talking with Professor Eric. Eric turns his head and looks directly at Jake. He was still confused on just how smart Jake was. He gave Jake the cold eye and cold shoulders. Jake had a feeling that he knew that Professor Eric was hiding something from him. He could tell because he was a master of self-disguise himself. Jake made sure to keep his identity of the Dark Spider as hidden as possible. Jake, I know I said for you to visit my office today after your scuffle with Flash and Bobby, as well as Raven, but something has come up, so tomorrow first thing in the morning you will report to my office. Okay, Jake didn't put much thought into Xavier's words. He had other things to worry about, like modifying his system with the new powers absorbed today from Raven and Flash. Also, he wanted to get his destroyer power suit working as fast as possible. Xavier nodded and went back to talking to Eric. For your first day here you really caused a huge commotion, Gwen said while she skateboarding around Jake in a circle. I guess. Jake coolly placed his hands in his jean pockets and looks around the school garden. He sees Flash and Bobby picking on weaker kids by taking their lunch money, homework, and even giving out painful wedgies and other forms of painful hazing. This world's Barry Allen really was a jerk, and so was Bobby. They felt like they owned the school. Aside from these 2 jocks, they were followed by a teenager with sunglasses who had slightly medium gelled hair like Jake's. His name was Scott Summers. He was part of the hierarchy of the King Flash. Or King Flash. Jake didn't help out the kids being bullied because he would end up fighting Flash again, and Flash would probably not hold back his powers since he already hated Jake's guts. So what's up with everyone weak getting bullied like crazy? Asked Jake to his new friends. It happens all the time. Sadly there is not much anyone can do. In fact you were the only one who stood up to Flash and Bobby, 2 of the strongest superpower humans on campus, said Gwen as she stopped skateboarding. Suddenly she lost her balance and she was about to fall face down onto the pavement. Jake quickly caught by grabbing her slender waist and in a tango pose. Her cheeks turned a bright and rosy red. She was blushing way too much as Jake held her body up and saved her from falling face first onto the cemented ground. Wow, your reflexes are fast, Gwen cutely mumbled. I know, but you should be more careful. Jake playfully drops her butt onto the grassy garden and walks off. Hey, gosh, you are such a jerk. Gwen huffs and stumps her fight with a loud pout. Hey, about the hierarchy in this school I think it goes by ranks or tiers, Miles informed Jake. Go on, Jake replied. Well, you see Flash is the king of this academy, he is a senior, and Bobby is the jack, kind of like playing cards or royalty status. There is also the knight, ace, queen, princess, etc. It all depends on how powerful the powers the person has. That's the main jest, Miles said. Yeah, that is why no one fights back. The hierarchy will gang up on you, Peter added in. At this time he got over MJ. He figured there were more girls in this world than just her and he should just focus on himself instead, like getting smarter and entering Stark Industries. Interesting, Jake rubs his chin. Reminds me of the crime and law enforcement in this world. The truth is chaos can't be controlled. I am going to change all of that. He thought about bringing down the hierarchy of this academy and world. Asterisk vroom, vroom, asterisk Bruce's Bugatti pulls up near Jake and reeves up. See you guys later. I will give all of you a text so we can meet up and chill out tomorrow, Jake said as he went to the gold and black sports car. Hey wait, do you mind if I get a ride? Shouts Gwen. Yeah, me too. Barbara shouts as well. Jake looks at Bruce and just shrugs. Every other student gawked at the car. Raven didn't care. She had a whatever face on. Bruce glares at Jake. I don't mind taking your friends to their homes. He tips down his sunglasses and winks at Jake. I have to stop wasting time. Whatever doesn't matter, by today I should have everything mapped out. No more playing around. Today was fun while it lasted, but it's time I get back to evolving. Jake clenched his fist. He had so many things to do today. Damn it, who knew friends could waste so much time? He sighed. Playing the role of a teenage student was getting on his nerves. Yeah, you guys can come, Jake said with a clear annoyed look on his face. Yeepy. Gwen runs over to the luxurious black and gold sports car. Barbara follows right behind. What Gwen didn't know was that the person driving the car was Bruce Wayne himself. What she also didn't know is that she would be with the Dark Spider and Dark Knight in the same car. Jake's new life was just beginning. But he knew for sure that he couldn't waste any more time. Today was the only day he would live a normal life, for what was about to come was going to give Jake a rude awakening. Chapter 46, Emotions. Bruce Wayne at the moment was wearing sunglasses, so Gwen couldn't really tell who was driving the insanely expensive Bugatti. Though many questions were racing through Gwen's mind, like who exactly was Jake's father? And who exactly was Jake? How was he this cool? She never heard of any wealthy family with the last name Justice, which sounded very strange for a last name, almost contrived. Jake was mysterious in Gwen's eyes. She didn't know much about him, but yet she felt such a strong connection with him. Some people don't believe at love at first sight and some do. Love works in mysterious ways. So where should I be talking your girlfriends? Bruce said with a sly smirk. They are not my girlfriends, Jake quickly corrected Bruce. Both Gwen and Barbara blush. They then both tell Bruce their address. Only Barbara knew that Jake was Bruce's apprentice. A while back Jake told Barbara to keep it a secret between them. If anyone knew Jake lived with Bruce then that would draw more attention. However, it was obvious that his plan was backfiring. For fuck's sakes, Jake showed up to the first day of school in a Bugatti. The Bugatti zooms around in the highway of New Gotham, easily passing other cars in seconds. Whoa, this is amazing. Gwen lifts her hands high up in the air as a strong gust of wind swooshes by her face. Her golden blonde hair flutters everywhere. Barbara's ginger hair also moved around with the wind in a wild frenzy. The sunroof was down at the moment. Soon Bruce had arrived at Gwen's apartment complex, which was where Barbara stayed as well as Gwen's roommate. See you around, Jake? Gwen waved goodbye as she stepped out the flashy sports car. Bruce looks at Jake and nudged his shoulders for him to say goodbye properly at the two girls. Jake didn't care about this right now. He had way too many things to do today, but he got out of the car and waved the girls goodbye like a gallant knight. Gwen smiled and hugged Jake goodbye. I want a rematch of basketball tomorrow. This time I won't hold back. She winked and walked off. Barbara also hugged Jake. See you at school, hotshot. She sneaked in a kiss on Jake's cheeks. Gwen eyes furrowed in confusion and jealousy. Barbara barely even talked to Jake and yet she likes him. She takes out a silver ring from her pocket and presses it against her chest. It was Jake's silver ring when he dropped it at Gwen's house after he saved her as Dark Spider. Gwen still remembered that very day when the Dark Spider saved her life from sheer death when the mafia member was about to shoot her in the head. She thought her life was over, but the Dark Spider saved her and gave her hope to keep on living. Dark Spider was more than a hero to her, he was something entirely different. And well, Dark Spider really wasn't a hero type after killing the mafia men and devouring Killer Frost as well as other villains. Gwen held tightly to the silver ring. She waited for the day to meet the Dark Spider again. It had been weeks since the last time she saw him. If only she knew that the Dark Spider was closer to her than she thinks. She looks at Jake one more time with her alluring aqua eyes, before he got back into the Bugatti. Her heart begins beating faster. She was confused and distressed about her feelings for Jake. She knew there was something special about him. No one can ever understand a girl's mind, even girls themselves don't understand their own emotions. That is just how emotions work. Chapter 47, Upgrade. Jake thinks about all the girls he has met. Barbara, Gwen, Raven, Felicia, and there was going to be more. Oh, so more. He was trying to hold back his primal instincts, but damn did he want to be with every single one of them. It was hard to choose which girl he wanted first because all of them were so perfect. He knew first that he needed some power and money before he could chase after the girls he desired. And the truth was, he desired all of the girls in this world. Yet there were two girls who interest him right now. In about 10 minutes Jake arrives back at the Wayne Manor mansion. It was around 4 p.m. The sun shined brightly over Jake's face as he got of Bruce's gold and black Bugatti. So you are good with the ladies just like me. Haha, Bruce chuckled as he turned off the sports car by pressing a red sensor button. There was a push to start engine inside of the car, which was activated only by Bruce's fingerprints, and as a backup, it only started with Bruce's car keys. I guess you can say that. You didn't mind driving some random girls back to their apartments? I mean, don't you have important things to do? Jake asked with a confused face. Well, any friend of yours is a friend of mine, just don't expect me to do it again, Bruce said with a frown. Jake was about to say thanks, but he had to hurry up and upgrade a bunch of his powers, including his gear and system. He was also thinking of upgrading Butterbot, who had surprised him. Jake didn't know that Butterbot was becoming more sentient and aware at a rapid rate. Hey, I will be going to my room. Is there anything you have planned today? Jake said while walking inside the mansion with Bruce. Not really. Oh, wait. I do have this important dinner with a special lady and then I have to plan for a huge business trip, Bruce replied as he poured himself some orange juice. Okay, cool. I am going to work on my first school project, Jake said as made himself some coffee. Before you go, how was your day at school? Bruce asked while texting his exotic supermodel date. His tone was sincere. He actually wanted to know about Jake's first day at the academy. It was all right. Jake adds a bunch of sugar into his coffee to provide extra energy, even though he was going to have a coffee crash. But he needed this extra boost of energy for what he was about to do today. Good to know. You are a good kid, Jake, just a little too smart for your own good. But sometimes being smart isn't everything. When I come back from my dinner I need to talk to you about something important, Bruce said as he walks to his room to get ready for his date. He was actually late for his date. The drive was going to take 30 minutes or more depending on traffic, which New Gotham had a lot of. Yeah, I am going to need more than smarts for what I am about to do. Jake looks at both of his hands, which were shaking with power. He could feel the surge of powers he absorbed today coursing through his veins. It was like thunderbolts were exploding throughout his entire body. Flash's superhuman speed and reflexes were finally kicking in inside of his Spider-Man symbiote hybrid body. Alfred, make your best coffee, Jake instructed him, cracking his knuckles. Right away, Master Jake. Alfred goes over to the fancy gold plate kitchen and starts making fresh pressed espresso. Jake heads downstairs to the Batcave and goes straight to his room. Once inside, he flicks down a small, almost invisible paperclip device. Jake was only able to see this micro-sized paperclip device with his spider sight and spider sense. He had created this paperclip with his own spider webs. The paperclip device snaps back and activates a lever sensor on the metal floors and walls of Jake's room, which folded back and spun around to reveal Jake's secret hideout. This was his temporary hideout for now. Jake already had enough money to leave Bruce's mansion, but he needed a week to build his company from the ground up. He needed billions of dollars if he was going to compete with Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne. He also needed to create a revolutionary invention/serum that would catch the eyes of the most wealthy intellectuals and even civilians. So today was the day to change everything. He had already wasted enough time. Hierarchy or not, Jake was determined to push his powers to the limit. In front of Jake was a bluish floating holographic simulation screen he had fused with his system. Behind the simulation was his destroyer power suit. Jake takes out Butterbot from his backpack. "You ready for your upgrade?" Jake said with a wicked grin as he held up Butterbot high up in the air like in the Lion King movie. "It is about time, creator." Butterbot revibrates across Jake's hideout room. Not only was Jake going to upgrade this robot, but he was also going to upgrade everything else. His newly absorbed powers, his power suit, and his system. He was also going to use Raven's dark magic, demonic, powers to control his symbiote powers. Things were about to get serious. Underscore 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 on /n. If you can review and rate up this novel, that would be good. I used to look at the reviews to get better, but some reviews are useless, like the front page one, so to address the big question. Yes, there is harem, and I will finally put the tag. I just didn't have any space. Now it will be a harem that happens over time. Yes, making a harem novel is impossible. In fact, I have never seen a good one in my life. I don't claim to be perfect either. Only harem novel that was good was Super Sales for Superheroes. Check it out. Overall it comes to this: if you don't like harems, then don't read it. But if you want to read it, then I will be sure to put R18 on the chapter note so you can skip over it if it is not your thing. Next thing is the pace will pick up, and on Sunday I am doing a big event for a huge chapter release. Of course, you already know if you donate to Patreon I will be pumping out more chapters. $2 donation will help as well as any donation actually. The reason why I need this support is to upgrade my workstation. Grammarly is bad, lol. Here is a little story about myself. I literally have no friends. I shut off myself from anyone and write lol. So most of my days are spent writing and making new stories never done before. Anyways, here is some info. I will be adding more scenery, more Marvel and D.C lore, and more character development. I will be adding a poll chapter that will ask you which direction I should take the story. Anyways, more chapters coming out. 1,000 to 2,000 words maximum. Ask any questions. All powers will be explained tomorrow. I also plan to edit past chapters. And yes, Jake will learn from Bruce and a new master in martial arts. I will try to make things less complicated, lol. I also fixed Felicia to Felicia. Grammarly is messing with me on purpose. Raven is thick, Black Cat is busted, Butterbot is now Buttertron. Ghosty chapter 48, upgrade PT2. Alright, pull up the mainframe system. Jake jumped on his office chair and snapped his finger to activate his system and simulation screen. Holographic sensor sounds. The sphere simulation that Jake created for his forge for the first time showed up right in front of his eyes. He called it the Sim Sphere. The simulated sphere floated right above Jake's palms. He looked like a god in his own room. System mainframe. __. Forge. Powers. Skills. Acernal. Chose Forge. Jake instructed his system while opening his laptop. He then put Butterbot inside of the floating sim sphere. The simulated sphere scanned and outlined the robotic humanoid's body. Jake's system had integrated perfectly with the simulation station he had created inside his room. Everything was indeed powered by the sonar device that he had stolen from Batman. The best part of this setup was that he could easily hide it or take it somewhere else just by transferring the system inside of his cell phone or even in his mind. His inner Tony Stark was finally being unleashed. Humanoid robot, Butterbot. Body frame, Iron Man Mark III. STR, 50. DEF, 70. AGI, 50. STM, 20. Intel, 80. CAM, 0. Metals, steel and carbon fiber. Forge. ______________________________________________________________________________________________________________________:_:________________________________________________________________________________________________________________________Forge. Metals/minerals. Chose metals or minerals. Choose 3. Specs. This refers to modifications such as nanobot technology. Choose 2. Weapons. Describes itself. Examples: missiles, laser cannons, repulsor beams. Choose 3. Gadgets. Examples: jetpack, pinpoint aim. Choose 2. Fuel/energy source. Example: arc reactor. Damn, this robot I created in less than a minute really has some powerful stats. Well, let's get you an upgrade, buddy. Jake types away at all the options. Yes, creator. Make me powerful, Butterbot says as it raises its tiny robotic hands in the air. Jake forms the backbone and blueprints of Butterbot's newly upgraded body frame. I should probably give you a better name than Butterbot or Butterspreader, he thought as finished the last touches by rearranging the simulations on his forge and adding in all the metals, weapons, and energy source configurations. Jake then activated his own system to check out his current stats. Spiderman system. Race, human. IQ, 400, super genius. Evolution, symbiote, fusion variant, lizard. DNA, human, funnel web spider. Bloodline, symbiote rare unknown. Powers, super speed, super strength, 160 ton, high reflex/jump, wall climb, web shooters, organic form, spider sense, shotgun web, symbiote morphing, hardened symbiote scales, symbiote claws, void eye, dark ravison, can shoot a dark beam of symbiote out of eyes, super speed, flash, astral projection, raven, dark magic, cryoblast, killer frost, heat wave, D.C. Amazo powers atom, green lantern, Martian manhunter, suits, 1 destroyer/model, destroyer X1, forge. Underscore 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 STR 110 symbiote and Spider-Man strength. Def 88. AGI 105 Spider-Man and Flash agility. STM 80. Intel 107. Cam -5. Augments eyes spider sight void eye body frame locked brain speed mind. There is a lot of things I have to go over. For now, let me finish up my robot's upgrade. Jake gets back to work and places all the parts together to form a new and improved humanoid robot. /N. I will go into detail with Jake's new powers and his current powers. I have read past suggestions and Slayer Eye sounds like a cool name. I wonder what will be the powers of Slayer Eye? I was thinking it would be like this power Mystic Eyes of Death Perception or something different. Not sure. Anyways, give suggestions for Butterbot's upgrade LOL. Also, I will go more in depth with Jake's power suit as well, and the spider shop will be open next chapter LOL, which I wanted to do for a long time. Side notes, yes, anime powers may be included, but the MC has to make them. What to fix? I will be adding more depth to each character. And yes, I will finally talk about Jake's past life. In fact, I will remind everyone that Jake's mind was altered by a certain event. Spoiler, so yes, he thinks differently from his past self. I will say he has 50/50ths his past memories and mind. I would say more, but that will be a spoiler. In other news, I am working on my first original novel in a while, so I will let you know when it is up. Quick question, but is getting a contract on this site really worth it? Or should I just go to Amazon? Also, when should I release my next fanfic, Akame ga Kill? Chapter 49, Upgrade Prime. Forge. Underscore 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 caret underscore 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 underscore. Metals, nth metal, adamantine, vibranium. Specs, nanobot, transformer. Can transform to any object by scanning it. Jake, WTF, how did this robot get this spec? Weapons, laser beams, railgun, heavy artillery. Gadgets, thrusters, pinpoint aim. Fuel/energy source, dark reactor. Jake, I am going to test out my theories of compressed dark matter inside this robot before I use it on myself. It should replicate the effects of a black hole but at a much stable state. Hope this robot can handle it. Forge. Upgrade completed. Humanoid robot alias, BBtron. Why is my name Btron? Asked the humanoid robot as it was being modified. I want to at least keep your origins, Jake said while typing at his system to configure Btron's body frame. My hatred for you is infinite, Btron replied as its body started to reform itself. A new formation of nth metal, adamantine, and vibranium appeared all around Btron arms, legs, waist, and head. A vortex of these metals spun around him and then aligned onto his robotic body like magnets. In a matter of seconds, Btron was finally upgraded. Now one may be thinking, why in the hell did Jake upgrade this sentient robot who hated his guts? Well, it was rather simple. He needed someone, or in this case, something to join him in his missions. Jake realized that fighting alone would have him at a great disadvantage if he were outnumbered. So that is where Btron came in. Jake could shut down Btron if it ever tried to rebel against him like HAL 9000 or Ultron. Here is the final part of your upgrade. The dark reactor. Jake held a compressed sphere of dark matter on top of his palms. He created this sphere with his system. He places the dark reactor core inside the middle of Btron's chest cavity. Jake smirked at his new upgraded creation. His super genius mind was being used to its prime. I feel, can the power overflowing me? The power is immeasurable. Btron robotically thunders out as blackish static waves and sparks come out of its tiny 1-foot body. Boom, Btron exploded and its whole body shattered into a million pieces of mixed metals. The dark reactor was too powerful for the humanoid robot to contain. Jake's first sentient creation had been destroyed. Jake looks over his dead creation without a single ounce of remorse in his cold eyes. Damn it. I thought I made the dark reactor stable enough to be used as an energy source. There must have been an overload of dark matter. Good thing I didn't use it on myself. Back to the drawing board, he said while putting a pen on his ear and drinking some strong coffee. He got back to work. Next up in line is controlling my symbiote powers. This is going to be fun, he sarcastically said as he turned off all the remaining lights in his room and only turned on one powerful light that was a microscope light. Jake put down his finger on top of the microscope and takes out a combat knife from his desk table. Well, this is going to hurt. Oh wait, I don't feel pain. He spun around the combat knife in a skillful assassin way and cleanly cut off his own finger. His blackish symbiote blood spurted all over the lens of the microscope so he could see the strands of the symbiote up close. System enhance 100x zoom. Jake commands his system. His system fuses with the microscope lens and zooms directly at Jake's black blood. He was finally going to solve the origin of his symbiote bloodline. A/N. Next chapters will be longer. The next chapter should go over all of the MCS powers and other important information. The Patreon advanced chapters will roll out tomorrow, so there will only be one chapter tomorrow and the rest of the day until Sunday. I was not going to post at all, but I didn't feel like it's right to keep you guys waiting. But check out Patreon if you want way more chapters. Just a notice. I think it is about time I show everyone how R18 is really done. So wait for it. Cause it's coming. BTW, it would be good if I can get back to 4.5 or 4.7. So if you can review, that would be good. I will be posting more stories on Webnovel, then I will put it on RR. I will keep you updated with my new story. Chapter 50, Upgrade Prime Finale. Enhance 100x vertical and horizontal 180 degree zoom. Jake's system alerts him. Stop, Jake said to pause the zoom. Enhance to the right, 50x zoom. He slides his fingers forward to guide his system. He sees fibers upon fibers of protein, plasma, and molecules. He was trying to look for the white blood cells in his symbiote blood. White blood cells contain DNA, while red blood cells don't. Soon he found some white blood cells. Well, actually they were black blood cells in this case since it was the cells of a symbiote. The tricky thing about this is that they were billions of symbiote that existed in the Marvel world. To pinpoint one exact origin would be close to impossible. Symbiotes feed off darkness and the darkest desires of its host. Jake was sure that eventually, the symbiote inside his body will evolve and take over his mind just as it did to Eddie Brock. System, I want you to scan the DNA of this black blood cell. Jake rubbed his chin and used all of his smarts to formulate different theories on how to control his symbiote powers, which were dominant at the moment. He wrote down equations and methods as fast as lighting while drinking coffee and listening to Metallica as an extra boost. As he used his mind to the fullest ability, his system was scanning and analyzing the black blood cell. Scan complete. DNA origin unknown, restricted. Suddenly his system made a loud static noise and his body was sent back by a powerful static explosion. A swarm of symbiotes spun out of Jake's cut-off finger and then it attacks Jake. Jake jumped off from his office chair and shot out a blast of shadow flames from his palms. The flames devoured the attacking symbiotes. Jake's flames were a fusion heatwave's flames and Raven's dark magic powers. Even though the flames melted most of the symbiotes, more started to regenerate and head straight towards Jake at a ground-shaking speed. Shit. Jake shoots out black ice beams from his wrists like he was web-slinging, but instead, he shot out dark ice beams from his wrists. This was indeed Killer Frost's ice powers. The primal wrathing symbiote smashed up against Jake's room and slammed against the walls, causing the metal walls of his room to shatter. Eventually, the sentient xenomorphic tentacles froze as a thick layer of black ice encased around the sea of rebelling symbiotes. Jake breathes deeply and looks at his hand, which was actually shaking with pain. For the first time in a while he felt a pain surging throughout his skull. It was like his head was going to explode. A flood of dark images enters his mind. Asterisk, foolish boy, did you really think you would discover the truth? Did you actually think you are powerful enough to wield such destructive power? The darkness will soon consume you, asterisk, says a demonic alien voice. In the distance of Jake's mindscape, he sees a giant shadow figure sitting on a throne made up entirely of symbiotes. Could this be the origin of his symbiote bloodline? Where was he? Who was in front of him? Who are you? Jake roars out. He wanted to know the truth of his origin. In a flash, Jake snaps out of his mindscape and opens his eyes wide. He sees a fury of symbiote tentacles rushing over to his skull to kill him. The symbiote's tentacles harden and turned to razor-sharp spikes. His spider sense jolted up. Jake swiftly forms his necrokatana and slices the tentacles in half. The symbiote tentacles start squirming wildly on the ground. He realized that these symbiotes were a different color. They were a demonic reddish color fused with shadow black, kind of like Carnage symbiotes, but the blackish color overpowered the blood red color. In a blistering speed, Jake grabs the cut-off tentacles with his astral project powers and places them inside the dark reactor sphere to imprison the ravenous symbiotes that tried to kill him. He was using Raven's dark magic to subdue the symbiotes inside the dark reactor, which was filled with dark matter. Jake breathed heavily. He was almost devoured by his own powers. He looks down at his hands and forearms and sees slash marks that were from the symbiotes attacking him. His human blood leaked out from the deep wounds. It seemed whatever symbiote bloodline that was inside Jake did not want to be discovered. But Jake had a haunting feeling on the origin of his bloodthirsty symbiote powers. At this moment Jake knew what must be done. He had to devour more powers to keep his symbiote powers in balance. He felt an endless void in his stomach. Hunger took over his body. The hunger for power. Jake glances over at the dark reactor and sees it glowing. More symbiote tentacles came out the energy source sphere and attacked Jake. You got to be kidding me? How resilient is this thing to take over my body? He puts both of his elbows up and uses his dragon-hardened skin to block the attacking symbiotes. A formation of metallic dragon scales appeared around his forearms. The symbiote tentacles stabbed Jake in his forearms and his body slid back as friction sparks were seen coming out of Jake's forearms. Who would have known that the most deadly creature in this universe would exist inside of Jake? Suddenly a swarm of nanobots swarmed over the tentacles and trapped the tentacles so it won't harm Jake. It was Beatron, the little robot had come back to life. Only I get to kill to my creator, Beatron said as its body reformed around the dark reactor. The humanoid robot had actually been compatible with the dark reactor? Maybe it was because Jake was smart enough to trap the symbiotes inside of the dark reactor to trap the deadly alien creatures. The symbiote's dark powers must have balanced out the dark matter inside the core of the reactor? Well, it's good to have you back, Jake said with surprise in his blue eyes. He didn't know that his plan would work. I am going to need more coffee, Jake said while wiping some his own blood off from his mouth. Things were getting crazier by the second. Jake sits down with Beatron and inspects its whole body. Its upgrade was now complete with the dark reactor as Beatron's core. This was an amazing feat. In just one day Jake was able to create a brand new energy source that was fueled by the powers of darkness and dark matter, like space and atoms. He was also able to discover his symbiote origins. Well, not completely discover it, but he had a general idea of who was the omnipotent shadow being talking to him. Spider-Man's system. Plus 50 IQ equals 450 IQ. Plus 20 STR. Plus 30 STM. Plus 20 AGI. Plus 20 def. So I gained some stats by creating and forging a new energy source, and by fighting off my own symbiote powers. Sounds just about right. Jake washes his face with cold water to wake the fuck up. He had to be alert. This was only one of the days when his symbiotes attacked him. He needed to find a way to control all of his powers. Raven's powers only helped him trap some of the uncontrollable symbiotes inside the dark reactor core in which Beatron was now using. Jake needed someone of higher powers to control whatever was inside of him, someone like Doctor Strange. But right now his endless hunger to absorb more powers was growing by the second. Ever since he first devoured the lizard and killer frost inside his symbiote body, all he wanted to do is gain more power. Taking the blood of others wasn't enough for him. He wanted to eat them alive to gain all of their powers. Jake swiftly invests all of his money inside his own company named Justice Industries. He invested in the stock shares which he manipulated in his favor. In total Jake invested 500 million inside of his own stock in a hidden stock account. All he needed to do now was to create a project that would revolutionize the entire world. He formed many ideas, and the one of them that stuck out the most was the idea to create a serum that would help regenerate dead cells and kill off cancer cells. Something that would help people suffering from deadly diseases. It is ironic that a monster is actually thinking about saving lives when he has taken some lives himself. But that was the way Jake thinks. He was indeed a psycho who was too smart for his own good. In his past Jake experienced traumatic events that would change any man. He saw the lives of many innocents slaughtered by the likes of evil in his world. That is why Jake solely targeted criminals, terrorists, killers, and villains. If you let evil exist in this world, then evil will devour the weak. That was the one flaw of a superhero. Their own emotions got in the way of justice. It got in the way of truth. For evil can never change. Instead, it evolves and corrupts everything in its path. Much like Jake, but he sought out to use his evil for something else, for a higher purpose. By nature Jake wasn't an evil person. He was just someone who wanted to actually change the world. Jake looks at his destroyer power suit and then stands up. His stomach rumbles. I need to feed this endless hunger for power. He cracks his neck and gets suited up. A new mission unfolds. Beatron hovers over to Jake's side and lands on top of his broad shoulders. Spider shop now unlocked. Things just got better. Jake devilishly smirks. Domination now begins, Beatron said in a cold static voice. You got that right. Jake fist bumped Beatron and swings out of his room with his symbiote spider webs shooting from his wrist. Nightfall was just setting in. Who will the dark spider encounter this time? A/N. No chapter tomorrow. However, there will be advanced chapters on Patreon tomorrow. There will be a ton of chapters on Sunday, so get your power stones ready. The new story should come out today or tomorrow. I will let you know with a chapter link post. Also, all filler chapters will be put on the auxiliary section. Yes, this chapter may be confusing, so I am still fixing it today as it goes. To put it in simple terms, Spider-Man powers vs symbiote powers. You will know more about MCS powers in the next chapters and what happens to the enemies he absorbs. Next chapter will be filled with action and such. I already planned all the arcs, so I will speed up things a bit. Chapter 51, Spider Shop. Jake activates his spider shop and has a quick reaction speed in his mind to go back into his hideout. Shit, I forgot something, Jake said to himself as he web slings back to Wayne Manor. He then realized he could teleport back to his room. He formed a portal vortex in midair with his void eye powers and swings through the shadow black dimensional portal. In just seconds he arrives back at his room in the nick of time. Knock, knock, his room door is being knocked by Alfred. Master Jake, there is a phone call for you. I have also brought you a beef Wellington dinner, Alfred says in a respectful manner as he holds up a fancy silver plate. Jake quickly claps his hands to hide his hideout. A sensor picks up his clap sound waves and the room itself transforms back to normal. No traces of advanced technology or any evidence such as his laptop or power suit was seen in his room. Also during this time, Jake was fast enough with his flash super speed to change out of his combat spider suit, A/N, one in the cover, and back into his normal clothing, black t-shirt with a black biker jacket over it and jeans. Beatron quickly transforms into Jake's iPhone and jumps inside his jacket pockets. Master Jake? Is everything alright? Should I come in? Alfred says with a worried tone and his eyebrows raised. Yeah, everything is good. Jake quickly opens his room door and coolly leans against his door with a fake smile. Everything in his room was hidden, however. He couldn't mask up the punched-in walls he had punched in early trying to subdue his ravenous rebellious symbiotes who wanted to take over his entire body. Also it seems, here is your dinner and phone call, Alfred says while looking at the Carter-sized punched marks scattered around Jake's metallic room. He knew Jake was powerful, but this was just insane. You had a rough first day at school? Alfred asked while handing over Jake an old-fashioned house phone. Even though it was in the future, Bruce Wayne liked to keep things fancy and elegant. You can say that. Jake grabs the phone and answers the call. Bruce Wayne, Jake, how is it going? I want to let you know that something important has come up. The house will be in your care for 2 days. For now, don't do anything crazy. Also, we will have our talk when I get back. Just remember you only have 6 more days to get your shit together or I am kicking your ass out of the mansion. Even though I don't mind having you here, but you kind of know why I am kicking you out. Anyways, see you later. Yeah, sure. Talk to you later. Jake hangs up the phone. Things even got better. Now he had 2 free days to get a lot of things done. The reason why Jake came back to the mansion was to get his original cell phone. He had 2 cell phones. One for daily life, original cell phone, which had Bruce's, Gwen's, Peter, Miles, Black Cat, and Raven's phone numbers, and his secret phone which contained the sonar tracking device and top secret information he stole from Bruce Wayne. This secret cell phone, iPhone, was hidden inside his void eye so no one could actually get the phone, but Jake himself. Master Jake, I know Master Bruce can be rough sometimes and so can other people at your academy that you attending, but you can always rise up and change your destiny. Master Bruce saw something special in you. He believes that you will be the one to change this world. You are smart one, Master Jake, just do not let your emotions get in the way of your destiny. Keep on rising. Alfred encouragingly said with a bow and then he walks off upstairs to the upper portion of the mansion. Out of the Batcave. Jake looks at Alfred walk away. How does he always find the right words to say? He scratches the back of his head. Jake needed to get his original cell phone just in case anyone called like Bruce or any of his new friends. In order to live a double life, you had to do it right. It was no secret to Bruce that Jake was the Dark Spider. However, Jake didn't want Bruce to find out about his secret hideout in his room and the information on his top secret cell phone which blocked anyone's number and blocked out all tracking device from Bruce. Jake had meticulously tried to keep his true powers and true intentions hidden from Bruce. If Bruce/Batman figured out Jake's plan of gaining more powers and dominating over this world as the highest evolution of Spider-Man, then Batman would surely fight Jake and arrest him for his countless crimes. That is why it was crucial for Jake to get the fuck out of the Batcave. No more playing around. Jake activities his spider shop in his system before he leaves to his mission. He was going to do a quick boost for his powers. Spider shop spider. Upgrade powers: super speed, super strength, 160 ton, high reflex/jump, wall climb, web shooters, organic form, spider sense, shotgun web, symbiote morphing, hardened symbiote scales, symbiote claws, void eye, dark ray vision, can shoot a dark beam of symbiote out of eyes, super speed, flash, astral projection, raven, dark magic, cryoblast, killer frost, heat wave, D.C. Create new power. Chose current powers to reform or create entirely new powers. Jake, so many choices, so little time. For now, he quickly chooses Void Eye and Super Speed. Void Eye: create new eye, augment Slayer Eye, input power information. Super Speed upgrade: chose upgrade form, X, Spider Speed, Ultimate Speed, etc. Jake gets creative with his inner superhero, or in this case super anti-hero, or whatever, you get the idea. His super genius mind takes over. Slayer Eye abilities, much like the hidden technique, Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. However, it is fused with every death inducement/manipulation. Not only can user slice threads/lines of death, but they can also slice through the very life force and soul of another being, thus completely wiping them out of existence. Slayer Eyes can also fabricate objects, matter, and someone's mind by implanting a hive mind of false realities created by its user, thus making the enemy die without realizing they are even dead. Known as erase/kill. Overall, Slayer Eyes can kill/erase anything that has matter, atoms, souls, or any sort of life force or even death force. Even death itself and immortals can be killed. The user can also implant billions of powerful nanofiber spider webs inside of enemy's body. These spider webs are made of darkness itself, shadow threads, much like having billions of symbiote threads implanted into someone's body. The user can slice an enemy a billion times over and over until the body is nothing more. The spider webs can destroy any kind of matter, so basically it can slice anything. Some violent bloody stuff. A/N, this has to do with the Slayer Eye. https://powerlisting.fandom.com/wiki/death_inducement. Risk of using Slayer Eyes is huge, may result in a backfire if the user doesn't kill the enemy. X, if the user isn't able to kill the enemy, then the user will sustain major damage to the eyes and mind. Holy fuck, that is the most OP power ever in existence. I don't know if I should create it. Jake clenched his fist. He had created this Slayer Eye power all with his deadly mind. If he gained this power, then his evolution will almost reach its peak. To the level of cosmic Spider-Man? But drawback was huge. I have to think this through. He breathes heavily. His destiny was literally on the line. Chapter 52, Domination. Jake thought of the best option and the worst case of scenario. If he were to gain the Slayer Eyes, then his power level would skyrocket to the top of the ranks, even beyond the gods of this world. However, one slight mistake when using the Slayer Eyes would mean certain death for himself. So the best option was to simply have the Slayer Eye powers in one eye rather than both eyes, for now, and on his other eye, he would have the Void Eye. That way he would cut his chances in half of killing himself if he was to wrongly use the Slayer Eyes. Is there a way I can create the Slayer Eyes for only one of my eyes for now? Jake asked his system. Yes, that is possible. However, you must know that there will be a consequence for doing such an action. It's better than dying when using the Slayer Eye powers. I will take those chances, Jake said. He knew there was a catch with every power he acquired, much like any superhero or villain when they get their powers. Everyone who had powers had some kind of restriction. An example would be for Magneto's magnetic powers, magnetokinesis, magnet telekinesis powers to control magnetic fields. He would need a source of metals to control or a strong magnetic field source nearby. So without any metal elements nearby, Magneto's powers have some restriction, not fully of course. The same ideal would go with the Slayer Eyes powers. The restriction of the Slayer Eyes was unknown to Jake, but he knew if he were to make the slightest mistake when using this power, then he will severely damage himself. Not did it mattered since he was technically immortal, symbiote powers, but wanted to cut his damages in half. He didn't fully understand the powers of the Slayer Eyes yet. Slayer Eyes acquired 2 eye augments in use: Void Eyes, left eye, and Slayer Eyes, right eye. Jake's right eye started to reform itself and glowed a dark red color. Suddenly sparks of blackish lighting blasted into his right eye. He tried to hold in the shearing pain and power entering his eyeballs, but any god would scream in pain as they acquired the insane amount of power entering Jake's right eyeball. Fuck, the power entering my eyes is insane. He punched the metal wall of his room to subdue the pain. Another huge fist Carter was seen in the metallic walls of his room. If anyone knew better, then they would think a monster of high power was living inside of Jake. Jake moved around his right eye to adjust his sight. Everything was fuzzy and dark in his right eye. It was like he was blind in one eye. Then a void of shadows began to appear in front of his right eye. What are these blackish thread lines? Can this be the lines of death? Jake looks around his room and sees black lines upon lines scattered around his room like spider webs. Now I understand. Jake takes out a hidden combat knife from his office table in his room and then spins around the knife on his fingertips with precision. In his past life, he was skilled with just about every weapon. He could literally kill you with a fork if he wanted to. Jake aimed at an array of blackish lines that covered the window his room. He then stopped. Yeah, I should test this new power somewhere else. Jake swiftly puts on his black and dark red spider suit made up of carbon fiber and symbiotes and web slings out of the window of his room. A/N, cover art suit. Jake web slings to a secluded park which was about 5 miles away from the Wayne Manor estate. Even though it was dark as hell outside, Jake could see the lines of death as clear as day with his Slayer Eyes. Jake gripped the combat knife handle tightly on his palms. His target was a huge oak tree in front of him. It must have weighed 20 tons or more. There was a large array of blackish web threads scattered around the tree. It seemed the bigger the object, the more lines of death would appear. Jake simply sliced off one blackish line of death with his combat knife. In a flash, the tree exploded into chunks of wood and then disappeared. It looked like slicing off any line of death would end the existence of the object or living being that was Jake's target. Jake then turned his attention to another tree. This time the lines of death were not seen, rather instead Jake planned to erase the entire tree without slicing it with his combat knife with his Slayer Eye powers. He focused his right eye at the tree. One line was seen. In fact, it was glowing and the color was a blood red color. He literally swooshed his extended fingers to the side in a cutting karate chop motion to cut the glowing red line, and the tree actually vanished. The tree exploded into a billion fragments of matter and atoms. However, the explosion couldn't be seen by the naked eye. Okay, now this is insane. I destroyed something without even touching it. Jake couldn't hold in the excitement of his extremely powerful newfound powers. Aik. Jake slightly groaned as he gripped his right eye. A stream of black blood leaked down his eyes. Just as I thought. The more I use this power, the more it puts a strain on my right eye. I have to use this power wisely. Jake quickly wipes away the blackish blood from his right eye and takes out his normal cell phone. Now that I understand the power of my Slayer Eyes a little better, it's time to hunt, but first I need to make a quick call, he said to himself with a dark smirk under his black mouth mask. He dials in a number and waits for the person to answer his call. Black Cat, I knew you would eventually call me Dark Spider. It was not nice wrapping me up in your spider webs while you fight the bad guys all by yourself. She huffs. A/N. She is referring to the time when Jake fought off Killer Frost and Mr. Freeze all by himself while Black Cat was tied up in his spider webs. Yeah, don't get too excited. Meet me at the docks in 5 minutes. Jake hangs up his cell phone and web swings away into the night skies of New Gotham. A flock of crows passes by his face as he swings on top of a complex of New York-style apartment buildings. Jake wanted to meet up with Black Cat because she knew where the mafia groups and villains would be around this time of night, 11 p.m. Jake wanted to figure out if Magneto was really a part of the construction of cryo bombs given to Mr. Freeze and his goons. In fact, Jake had a feeling that Magneto was behind most of the crime outbreaking in New Gotham. Why else would Magneto offer to help Jake become more powerful? It all seemed so strange. Who really was in power in his world? Jake knew that Black Cat had an excellent understanding of how the mafia works. She herself was a cat bulgar and wanted criminal. She worked for the most notorious mob bosses in this city. She knew how the jungle worked. In about 5 minutes Jake reached his destination, which was the same docking station he fought of Killer Frost and Mr. Freeze. The smell of salt water filled Jake's nostrils. Black Cat stealthy walks on all fours and sneaks up behind the dark spider who was standing on top of a marine docking building. Jake at the moment was scouting the area for any irregular power readings with the sonar device installed inside his cell phone. Beatron also scanned the area by hovering around the docking station and using its nanobots to sense any power readings. No large power readings found. The area is secure, Beatron informed as it coolly landed on top of Jake's shoulders like a hawk. Jake lets Black Cat sneak up on him as he knew she didn't pose any kind of threat. Black Cat wraps her soft slender arms around Jake's buff chest and seductively whispers in his ear, "You miss me?" Jake turns around and faces Black Cat. Her sexy eye-masked face looked extremely gorgeous as the moonlight shone over her. She looked like a stunning vixen. Jake doesn't answer Black Cat and suddenly grabs her by her well-toned hourglass waist and pushes her busty body close to his chest. Black Cat's massive breasts grind up against Jake's chest and jiggle about. Her breasts were being tightly squeezed by Jake's muscular chest. What are you doing?" She stutters. She was shocked that the dark spider was actually acknowledging her. "Just close your eyes," Jake says as his lips get closer to her glossy pink pillowy lips. He was going to seal the deal. Chapter 53, Domination PT2. Temptation is just an indescribable feeling. One must fully embrace it for themselves to truly understand it. There is a fine difference between lust and love. And right now Jake was feeling insane lust and tension when he looks at Black Cat's curvaceous heavenly body. One cannot simply deny such overwhelming beauty. Jake slowly takes off his balaclava mask. His lips are inches away from Black Cat's lips, which were slightly trembling with anticipation. She wanted to feel the pleasurable sensation of having another's embrace. Jake quickly pressed his lips against Black Cat's soft pillowy lips and firmly holds her slim waist while pressing her busty body closer to his chest and six-pack abs. Her bright emerald eyes widen with shock and extreme pleasure. Jake's hands go lower from her slender waist and down to her plump peach-shaped ass, which is so big to it almost ripped out of her black shiny skin-tight leather catsuit. Jake tightly squeezed Black Cat's thick ass as he made out with her. One of her muscular legs excitedly lift up in the air as she passionately kisses Jake. Black Cat's lips tasted so sweet to Jake like strawberries. He wanted to eat her up. Black Cat reciprocated Jake's forceful kiss and kissed Jake even harder, making her pillowy lips forcefully press up against his lips ever so tenderly. Jake then pushes her away, and his lips part Black Cat's passionate kiss. Black Cat tried to kiss him again with an eager look in her lustful emerald eyes, but Jake placed his palms on her lips to stop her. They have only seen each other twice, but the lust was on overdrive tonight. Jake wanted to strip her out of her leather skin-tight catsuit and devour her body. He wanted to fuck the living hell out of her smoking hot voluptuous body. She was everything he wanted and more. But he had to keep it together. Besides, he kissed her for an important reason. His dark red eyes glowed in the darkness as he started at Black Cat. He needed someone to do his dirty work. "Do you trust me?" Black Cat mutters with cool breaths as she gently touches her own lips. She was still shocked that the dark spider had just kissed her. She savored his kiss. Jake doesn't answer her as turns away from her face and looks ahead at the bustling bright city of New Gotham. His back was only seen. The cold winter winds blast against Black Cat's angelic face. Her flawless platinum hair flutters with the wind. "Do you trust me?" Jake turns around and walks closer to Black Cat. Each step he took rattled the ground below her. His powerful dark aura was suffocating her very body and soul, yet she stood her ground and faced Jake in the eyes. She feared him, but she also loved him. There was something about the dark spider that made her go wild. In her many years and past relationships which didn't last long, since she broke up with just about every guy that was a douche or full of ego, she had never seen someone like the dark spider. She had seen just about every stereotypical guy, the rich guy, the mob bosses, the villains, and the superheroes. All of these guys bored her to death. There was nothing special about them. She wanted something new in her life. And Dark Spider brought that kind of spark in her life. She was in an endless abyss of being alone for so long. She had always worked alone as a cat burglar. But she felt something special with the Dark Spider, something she had not felt in such a long time. Freedom. She had her reasons to team up with Jake. She wanted to be by the side of someone that was powerful enough to take down the whole mafia all by himself. Black Cat was done working for the mafia. She hated being used by the rich and corrupted like some kind of pawn. In New Gotham, there were two powerful mob bosses who were a part of a mafia known as an international crime syndicate. They controlled Black Cat's fate and freedom. These two mob bosses were the masterminds behind all the criminal activity in New Gotham, but there were more than just these two infamous mob bosses who controlled the influx of crime happening in the city. It just happened to be that Black Cat was a part of this mafia, but she was in this syndicate for her own reasons. "I do trust you. How can I not after seeing your powers? If I go against you, then I already know what you will do to me. I have seen what you did to the ones who go against you, but that doesn't matter. I want to follow by your side no matter what. I know we have only met twice, but I feel a connection between us. We fight for the same thing. There is nothing more I want in this forsaken world than my own freedom back. I will do anything to be by your side. Black Cat holds her heart and looks up at the dark spider with sorrow in her beaming eyes. Good. I want you to listen closely to what I am about to say. Jake aggressively holds Black Cat by her cheeks, exerting his dominance over her. Gah. She yelps in pain and steps back a bit. We don't fight for the same thing. I want you to tell me who the hell you are working for. Jake's merciless demonic glare almost makes Black Cat puke out blood. His glowing red eyes made her thick legs tremble with fear. Fine, I will. Black Cat bites her lips in pain and sadness. The dark spider's actions made the vixen frighten. Jake made her look like a little kitten. Hurry, spit it out, kitty. Jake edges her on. Why, tell you when I can show you. Black Cat crosses her arms and sly tilts her head. Chapter 54, Domination PT3. Black Cat jumps across the rooftops of apartment buildings. Jake web slings right behind her and follows her every movements. She was super agile, flexible, and fast on her feet like a snow leopard. In every way possible she was the embodiment of a fierce feline. Can you carry me in your powerful muscular arms while you swing me away? Black Cat teased Jake with a wink as she jumps on a balcony of a building. Not a chance. Jake jumps on top of a glass rooftop of a huge mega mall. He could see a bunch of civilians leaving the mall through the glass roof. It was now 11:30 p.m. The mall's close later in New Gotham. There was extra security guiding the civilians out of the mall. Ah, come on. Don't be such a sour spider. My legs are really hurting and I am getting tired. Black Cat smirked as she playfully massaged Jake's shoulders. Her buxom breasts press up against his back. Where exactly are you taking me? Jake is getting annoyed by Black Cat's seduction antics. You are just going to have to wait and see. Black Cat puts on her orange goggles over her black eye mask, like in the comic books. These were infrared goggles which could see in the dark. Jake could already see in the dark because of his void eyes powers and his spider sight/enhanced spider senses, which picks up any nearby power signatures and alerted him of danger that was close. Plus he had a symbiote bloodline which was the embodiment of darkness. He knew the dark all too well. Black Cat spots out the location she was looking for and grins. Gotcha. She lifts up her goggles. She already pinpointed the secret mafia hideout by snapping a photo of it with her goggles. Seriously, can you swing me around? I have been jumping around from building to building and I have been stealing prized jewels and cracking open safes all day long. My legs are freaking killing me. Black Cat seductively massages her own fixed thighs and stretches her long legs and arms. Whatever, as long as it makes you shut up. Just tell me where the location is at. Jake lifts up Black Cat with one arm like she was a princess and web slings her and himself across a nearby billboard and then slings onto a business tower. He keeps on web swinging from building to building with one hand, with his symbiote spider webs shooting out from his veiny right wrist. His symbiote spider webs were powerful enough to swing Black Cat's weight and his own weight just with one spider web. Just past those two buildings and you will find the location of the hideout of the mob bosses who have me captive. Black Cat says as her busted body dangles over Jake's forearms. He was web swinging around the city while carrying the sexy Black Cat like he was King Kong. Her massive watermelon breasts and ass jiggle as he swings away in the night skies. You know, we should do this more often. It is so fun. Black Cat happily raises both of her hands up in the air like a giddy girl. She really was enjoying her time with the dark spider. Alright, the free ride is over. Jake drops Black Cat on her bubbly butt near the rooftop of an apartment complex. Ow? What the heck? You really do play rough. Black Cat rubs her sore butt after being dropped. Now lead the way. Jake lands near her and cracks his knuckles. Beatron hovers near Jake. What is that? Black Cat asked while poking Beatron's robotic humanoid face like a curious kitty. It's one of my most powerful inventions and it will kill you if you don't hurry up and show me where you bosses are at, Jake coldly said. He knew that whoever hired Black Cat to do their dirty work was most likely the one who planned out the hostage raid on Barbara and Gwen, as well the ones who gave cryo bombs to Mr. Freeze, Killer Frost, and Iceman. Yikes, why are you so mean all the time? You won't get a girlfriend like that. I don't care, Jake replies without any sense of care for her meaningless, useless words. Humph, I finally got to see what your face looks like with your mask off and I have to say I am impressed. You are everything I envisioned you would be. So handsome, so smart, so mysterious, and so powerful. Almost unreal. I wonder who you really are. Black Cat licks her lips while grabbing the sides of her slender waist. Black Cat was older than Jake by 3 years. Jake, 17, Black Cat, 20, even though Jake's buff body frame made him look older than he is. Jake had indeed revealed his face, but he had dark glowing red eyes at this moment and he was going to use his Slayer eyes on her after he completed his mission. Not to kill her, but to do something else entirely. You will never know who I am. And I plan to keep it that way, Jake darkly said with his black mouth mask on. Oh, you're so bad. I like that. Roar! Black Cat purrs as she extends her metallic claws on her catsuit and starts moving them up and down like a fierce black cat ready to pounce what they desired. Creator, I sense a large power reading nearby. Beatron's metallic eyes started to glow a neon blue color like Optimus Prime. It was on alert. Black Cat waves her hands over to Jake. Hey, we are close. Just below this apartment complex there is a high-class restaurant. She points her fingers down at the edge of the brick apartment rooftop. Are you serious? I told you not to waste my time. Jake is angered that Black Cat would lead him to some random restaurant. Just trust me. I know where my kind hides out. Black Cat jumps off from the apartment building and lands on the rooftop of the restaurant. You better be right. Jake does a ninja backflip and jumps down towards Black Cat. He lands skillfully on top of the restaurant next to Black Cat. He was getting more used to his Spider-Man each day. Each jump, spider crawl, and web sling he did with perfect precision that would make Peter Parker look like an amateur. Jake uses his void eyes to see through the restaurant. He sees that the entire restaurant is completely empty. Let's go. Black Cat slashes and claws through the metallic rooftop of the restaurant with catsuit metallic claws to create a big enough opening for her and Jake to sneak in. She slowly did this so she won't make any noise. She really was a sly and smart vixen. Black Cat knew that the mafia would frequently meet up at random restaurants to plan future heists, drug deals, ransom attacks, and just about every crime you can think of. Jake slips through the cut-through opening and Black Cat follows him. You sure are a tricky cat, Jake said as he enters the empty restaurant. I am full of surprises. Both good and bad, Black Cat winks. She was emphasizing on her bad luck charm. Jake uses his spider sight and void eyes to see around the restaurant. Suddenly he spots out a hidden trapdoor near the bar area of the Italian restaurant. His spider senses was slightly tingling. A powerful force was nearby. So the bastards who took your freedom are behind this door. Jake pushes aside a wine cooler to open a trap wall and sure enough a hidden door was seen. How did you do that? Black Cat said with a baffled expression on her pale face. She had a hunch that the mafia was here at this certain restaurant tonight, but she could never find out where the meetings took place. Each secret location must have had a hidden door. Let's just say I have some tricks of my own, Jake said with a devilish smirk inside of his mouth mask. Jake could hear a bunch of loud people talking behind the hidden door which was soundproof. You ready to go in? These bastards don't mess around, they will kill you the moment they lay their eyes on you. Black Cat looks around for Jake. He vanished in thin air. He was already going down a fleet of stairs that would eventually lead to who he was looking for. Hey, what for me? Quietly yelled Black Cat with an angered growl and pout as she lightly stomped her feet. She is wearing combat high heels at the moment. She hated how Jake never listened to her. Jake stealthily crawls on all fours on the side of the brick walls of the mafia hideout. His spider hairs easily gripped at the brick walls. He looked like a rock climber. He was in some warehouse location that was disguised as a restaurant kitchen. Jake slowly crawls above 20 heavily armed mafia men who were all loading stolen items and weapons inside of school buses. Next to these mafia men were some random men who were wearing clown masks and some shitty tattered clothes with bulletproof vests strapped around the upper region of their bodies. Jake's spider senses shot right up. There were two powerful power signatures inside this mafia hideout. Chop, chop, everyone, soon the grand event begins? Ha. Hysterically laughs a nasty sinister voice from below where Jake was spider crawling. The clownish laugh was spine-chilling. Jake knew that horrid vile laugh from anywhere. A laugh that was destructive in every way possible. A laugh of pure chaos. Chapter 55, Domination PT4. Jake scanned the area for any powerful power source. There was no way that these mafia men had any kind of powers. He looked downwards to see who was commanding the mafia men and the clown-masked men. Why do we need to listen to a damn clown? Sal Maroni shouted out in an Italian accent. He was a 40-year-old Italian man with stylish hair and the head leader of the mafia, but nowhere near the rank of kingpin. Yeah, my patience is growing thin with this clown, said an African-American man named Gamble as he cracked his bulky knuckles. He was perhaps one of the richest mob bosses in New Gotham. However, he was also outranked by the other mob bosses since he mainly cared about getting money for himself rather than doing business. Even though he was one of the richest mob boss in New Gotham, he was also the most selfish mob boss who never thought about expanding his wealth and power. From the shadows, a figure with long dyed green hair and clown makeup, with a large lip gash known as a Glasgow smile walks into the light. A Glasgow smile is when someone mutilates themselves by slashing their own face from each ear down to their mouth, forming a wide bloody smile gash. Holy crap, he is one ugly looking clown. Who is he? Black Cat whispered as she crawled on all fours next to the dark spider who was inspecting the Joker and his goons. Keep your mouth shut, Jake said as he formulates a plan to take down everyone in this hidden warehouse. The mafia men and clown-masked men were loading an array of explosives and other deadly devices inside the school buses, 3 in total. Suddenly his spider senses rises almost to its peak. This power I am sensing is something I have never sensed before, Jake said to himself. Jake's eyes widen. Whoever was in this building with the Joker was truly a force of power not to be underestimated. He needed to be on alert and use his powers to the fullest. He won't hold back. His plans fade away, and all that was left was his killer instinct. To be powerful, one must dominate. One must be the apex predator. Jake looks at Joker talking. You mafia types are all the same. All bark and no bite. You yap, but get nothing done. No one fears you like they fear Batman or the Dark Spider. Your Ponzi schemes and robberies are outdated and childish. No one in New Gotham fears the mafia anymore. You're all just a bad joke. I think the real clowns here are you two. Joker cleverly points at Sal and Gamble while twirling around a knife between his fingertips. What do you mean? Everyone is afraid of us? My riches build empires. My riches buys me the most skilled assassin and mercenaries that can your ass in seconds. What can you possibly do that I can't do? What has your riches bought you? Nothing? Because you have no money? You fucking freak. Gamble is angered by Joker's vexing words and pulls out a Glock 50 handgun and points it at Joker's head. Even with all your money, the Dark Spider will still kill you. Do you think someone like him will be bribed with just money? Ha 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 ha. Look at you, I bet you are already shivering in you fancy little shoes just thinking about the dark spider. I can see the fear in your face. How does it feel to know you're not the one in control? Money has bought you nothing, all it has done to you is inflate your childish ego. When the chips are down you will be the one crying and begging at my feet to save you from true fear, Joker says with a dark grin. That's it? I had enough of your fucking bullshit? You fucking clown. Gamble pulls the trigger of his gun, but before he could shoot the Joker quickly tosses a Joker card at his gun and slices the barrel in half and cuts off 2 of Gamble's fingers. He fell to the cement floor as his blood spurted out of his cut-off fingers. You fucking clown bastard. What are you fucking idiots doing? Shoot him. Gamble roars out in pain as he gripped his bloody wounds. The warehouse is silent and only Gamble's curses and screams of agony filled the cold air. Joker takes out way more razor-sharp card from under his purple jacket sleeves. Each card was made of hardened steel and metallic glass, sharpest glass in the world. Every card had a Joker emblem on them. These cards were modified by the Joker himself. You really have no idea what's going on, do you? Joker spreads out his arms in the air and spins around in a circle to show off what was Gamble's situation. All the mafia men and masked clown men didn't obey Gamble's orders. None of them moved a muscle to protect Gamble. I guess your money doesn't work, after all. You see, money can't buy or control everything, but fear makes everyone crazy, makes them go mad. Fear makes everyone follow you to the darkest of ends. Joker kneels down to Gamble's level. Gamble trembles as the mad Joker's terrifying glass glow clown face gets closer and closer to the mob boss scared face. Do you want to know how get these scars? Joker places his knife inside Gamble's mouth and slowly slides the razor-sharp blade against the edge of Gamble's jaws. Gamble's eyes were shaking furiously with fear as Joker pressed the knife's blade harder against Gamble's jaws. Blood leaks out of his mouth. Gay-arg. He mumbles and screams out for mercy. Joker holds the back of Gamble's head and begins to speak in a dark menacing tone. My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy gets the kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that. Not one bit. So, me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. He turns to me, and he says, why so serious? He comes at me with the knife, why so serious? He sticks the blade in my mouth, let's put a smile on that face. He goes to slice off Gamble's jaw. Yeah, let's put a smile on that ugly mug of yours. Suddenly a powerful fist slams right into Joker's face. It was the dark spider. Joker's body is sent flying past several cement pillars and he slammed up against a pile of wooden containers filled with weapons. All the mafia men and clown masked men averted their attention to the dark spider who looked like a highly skilled assassin with one fist down on the ground and his body arched up like a tarantula in a striking stance. The mafia men and clown masked men held their weapons up at the dark spider, but they couldn't really see him in the dark. He was almost invisible with the billions of symbiotes inside of his spider suit. It was the same power suit he used in his first mission with Batman. The mafia men and clown masked men only pointed their weapons at the direction the Joker was hit, but they couldn't see who they were aiming at. Each mafia men and Joker's goons held up assault rifles and shotguns. These weapons were of higher quality than the run-of-the-mill weapons usually stolen or bought illegally by gangsters. Someone was supplying them with top military-grade weapons. How could have it been? Ho ha ha, ha 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 ha, this is the best day of my life. The Joker insanely laughs as he gets up from the rubble of broken wooden containers with a wobble. Each container was quite heavy and weighed a good 200 pounds each. Jake really punched the hell out of the Joker. I finally get to see the dark spider. Joker wipes his own blood off from his mouth and licks his bloody fingers with joy in sick eyes. He enjoyed the fearsome powerful punch from the dark spider. Jake obviously held back. If he didn't, then the Joker's head would have exploded from the sheer velocity and insane power of Jake's punch. Jake only used 3% of his powers. His punch was able to crack almost all of Joker's teeth. His jaws were almost dislocated as well. Jake stands up from the ground and gives Joker a death glare with his glowing dark red eyes. He wanted to use his new powers on everyone in this secret warehouse which reeked of corruption and death. In the distance Jake could see a bunch of bloody body bags of dead human beings set on fire. It was most likely Joker's doing. He probably killed the people who opposed him, just like he was about to kill Gamble. Joker really was someone to be afraid of, but not Jake wasn't afraid of him. He wasn't afraid of anyone. What's a party without a little extra company? Joker manically raises his hands in the air. From behind the Joker in the shadows of the warehouse, a busty sexy woman with long scarlet hair and emerald eyes is riding on top of a giant Venus flytrap. She looked like a beautiful nymph goddess. Oh, so we meet again, Spider. Poison Ivy blows a seductive kiss at Jake as she rides the sentient plant vines. There are also 2 more shadow figures right behind the Joker. Why is she here? Jake looks at Poison Ivy and clenches his fist. During his week training with Batman he fought off with Poison Ivy and she got away from Jake. She made a quick escape from him before he could use his Void Eyes. The distance of his Void Eyes Void Tornado had now increased double since the last time he met Poison Ivy. Suddenly out of nowhere a Titan-sized man that looked a rhino slams Jake against the brick walls of the warehouse. It was the Rhino humanoid himself, the Rhino from the Spider-Man comics. Now the real fun begins. Joker exclaims as he dances around and kicks up his feet with psychotic joy. This won't be fun for any of you. Dark Spider clenched his fist and does a fierce lightspeed right hook punch against Rhino's thick defensive polymer face. In a flash, Rhino's head explodes into meat chunks and shatter skull fragments. Jake then absorbs his 701-pound body inside of his eyes with his Void Eyes powers. It was a bloody sight to behold. Pure carnage. Jake looks at all the people Joker has killed. It reminded him of the bloody battlefield. Seeing all of his comrades slaughtered like livestock, fury burned deep within his veins. His hatred ignited. The one thing he hated was senseless killing. How ironic. Joker killed the innocent and the bad. He didn't care who he killed. All he cared about was causing enough chaos to gain the Dark Spider's attention. Jake had seen all the horrible things the Joker has done in the world with the information he had gotten from Batman. He knew how crazy the Joker was. He wasn't an easy villain to take down. He was too cunning. Jake knew he had to stop the Joker. But is Black Cat really working for the Joker? There is no way she would work with someone like him. Bravo, bravo. Joker claps his hands. He is beyond amused by Jake's terrifying powers. I'm just getting started. Jake wipes off Rhino's ruby blood from his masked demonic-looking face and forms a necro-katana in one hand, and on the other he forms a necro-knife. His demonic aura was overflowing and exploding out of his body. His rage was on overdrive. Red and black symbiote sparks burst out from arms and legs. Things were about to get brutal. There will be more Marvel characters. Chapter 56, Decisions plus Open Discord. Chapter 57, Update. Chapter 58, Domination PT 5. The Mafia men and Clown Masked fired at the Dark Spider with a fury of bullets. Shotgun shells, projectiles, and lead bullets scattered towards Dark Spider, who instantly sliced through the bullets with one sword slash of his necro-katana. Swoosh! All the bullets shattered and fell to the ground. What the fuck is this monster? Shouted one Mafia man as his body trembled in fear as he saw how insanely fast the Dark Spider was when he sliced through the bullets just with a symbiote sword. The Mafia men have never a fearsome beast like this before in their corrupted murderous lives. Just keep on firing. Die, you bastard! Roared one clown masked man. Shoots his shotgun at Dark Spider. Asterisk bam! Collision asterisk. Dark Spider's super speed and Spider-Man agility easily sliced through more of the bullets. In a quick effortless motion that was less than a second, Jake spins around his combat necro-knife and slightly activates his Slayer eyes. An X-shaped symbol appears on his right eye, which was now glowing a dark red. Jake sees all of the Mafia men and Clown Masked men's lines of death. The color of the lines was blood red. Without second thought, Jake sliced through all of their lines in one fell swoop with his necro-knife. Each line was sliced off with precision and shattering speed. All screamed the Mafia men and Clown Masked men as all of their arms were sliced completely off. Blood splattered everywhere in the warehouse. Jake didn't aim to kill the Mafia men and Joker's henchmen. He aimed to literally disarm all of them. Jake shots out symbiote spider webs around the goons' bodies and hangs them up on the ceiling. His symbiotes kept the Mafia men and Joker's henchmen from dying as Jake's symbiotes entered the bloodstream of every single one of the murderers' bodies. Jake now controlled all of the Mafia men and Joker's henchmen. They all looked like symbiote zombies. They followed every single movement of Jake. He was like a necromancer Spider-Man. He could control anyone by implanting his own symbiote strands inside of any being's open wounds or even entering their eyeballs, ears, nose, whichever method enters the bloodstream of its victims faster. What kind of power is this? It is truly amazing. Joker yells out happily as he picks up a shotgun that was near his feet. You are quite the fascinating specimen. Poison Ivy goes closer to Dark Spider and rubs his buff chest. Maybe you can join us on our mission to rid this world of the weak and to destroy all heroes. /n Poison Ivy, https://www.deviantart.com/artgerm/art/poison-ivy-sides how-art-336490789. Get your filthy hands off me, Jake snarled as he slapped away Poison Ivy's smooth warm hands. He knew how vexing and conniving she could be. Her powerful charm powers and seductive body frame could trap any man's heart and eat them alive like a Venus flytrap. She was indeed a deadly lust trap, whose sexy busted body manipulates and bends men to her whim. Ultimately, the fall of a powerful man is by a woman's lustful body seducing and brainwashing men by playing mind tricks on them by sexually teasing them. Jake wasn't like other men who thought with their pitiful rods. He knew when a woman was playing tricks. Even in his past life, he knew his ex-girlfriend Myra was playing with his mind. Everyone lies. No one ever tells the truth. You should never trust anyone. Suddenly, without any hesitation, Poison Ivy quickly kisses Jake in the mouth with her juicy succulent red lips. She pressed her red lips oh so dearly against Jake's lips, which were covered in a mouth mask. However, Poison Ivy was smart enough to swiftly take down his mouth mask and kiss his lips. As she French kissed Jake using her soft tiny tongue to glide around his tongue and his mouth with some soft horny moans, she had injected a heavy dose of poison inside of his mouth. As she heavily kissed Dark Spider, she had a wicked grin on her face. Her poison was going to kill Jake in a matter of seconds. Poison Ivy's lustful lips and even her own saliva was laced with deadly toxins. In fact, her whole bloodstream was filled with deadly toxins. This power was known as the Death Touch. This was why she was one of the sexiest and deadliest villainous women in this world. Her art of seduction knew no bounds. As a goddess of nature and lust, her charm was unbeatable. She had even seduced Batman. You bitch, get your lips off him. Black Cat furiously growled as she gritted her teeth and extended out her claws. She was protecting Jake from the red-haired vixen who was covered in a leafy dress. She most likely wasn't wearing a bra or panties. How does that taste? Savor it. For this will be your last kiss, Poison Ivy whispers as her lips part Jake's lips and her bright alluring emerald eyes look up at Dark Spider as she licks her glossy lips, but the Dark Spider wasn't fazed in the slightest. What? How are you not dead? Poison Ivy angrily yells out as she gritted her teeth with shock in her eyes. He should be dead by now? No one has lasted this long after being touched by me. She was infuriated that her powers weren't working on Dark Spider. Her last resort was on full effect. Her alluring charm, that is. You wouldn't hit a girl? How about I show you a good time? Poison Ivy lustfully said as she went in for another kiss. Jake quickly uppercut punched Poison Ivy in her slim stomach without a shred of mercy in his demonic dark red glowing eyes. Whem? Gaya. Poison Ivy coughs out blood and falls to her thick knees, her massive watermelon tits jiggle everywhere as she pukes out blood. Finally, the scarlet hair vixen was getting a taste of her own medicine, or in this case her own poison. Her Venus flytrap monster goes to attack Jake to protect its master. He easily slices the giant Venus flytrap with just one slash of his necrokatana. What Poison Ivy didn't know was that Jake had a powerful resistance to all types of poison. Actually, he could inject venom into anyone if he wanted to, just by touching them. After all, he did have funnel web spider radioactive DNA. Jake himself had injected his own venom inside of Poison Ivy's mouth when they kissed. That's why she was vomiting out blood. His venom was more powerful than hers. Ha 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 ha, you are even more fun than the bat. You really are something special. Joker couldn't contain himself anymore as he laughed so hard that he almost died of laughter. Jake turns around at him and commands his newly created symbiote zombies to attack Joker. The armless mafia men and clown masked men all mindlessly attacked Joker. A pair of symbiote arms exploded out from their arms as they charged forward. They followed Jake's every order and command. They were now his slaves, nothing more than weaponized pawns. A/N, imagine the Flood like in Halo or just zombies in general. Joker without any care for his comrades shotguns their heads. Meat chunks and brain matter exploded all over Joker's face as he fired away. It was a slaughterhouse. But these goons and terrorists deserved every single second of this slaughter after they had killed so many people. In a way, Jake didn't kill these murderous men himself, it was the Joker who did. Jake really was becoming a cynical monster who only cared about accomplishing his mission. That was all that mattered to him. He used others who deserved to die to accomplish his mission. It was as simple as that. No superhero bullshit to sugarcoat his methods. He already knew he wasn't a hero. The same could be said for his past life when he fought on the battlefield as a soldier and Navy SEAL. Joker kills off all of the symbiote zombies and makes a mad dash to the nearest school buses, which were loaded up with bombs and weapons. The remainder of his Joker crew frantically followed him as they saw the headless symbiote zombies regenerate themselves. Strands and tendrils of symbiote veins reformed around the headless symbiote zombies to reform their heads back to its original state. Fuck this shit. Let's get the fuck out of here. Cries out one of the clown masked men as he gets in the driver's seat. Who told you could drive? Get the hell out of here. Joker backhand slaps his own henchman in the face and tosses his body out of the bus. You fucking bastard. How can you betray me? No? Get back. The clown masked man screamed as he crawled backward on all fours as the symbiote zombies tackle him and tear his head right off and eat his body. Dark Spider coldly watches his symbiote zombies devour the screaming man alive. Blood splatters everywhere in the warehouse. Oh my god. Black Cat holds her mouth and almost pukes. Are you coming with me or not? INST, the Joker, the one who has you captive. Jake said to Black Cat. No, it is someone else. I think they hired the Joker to kill you. My boss isn't here. He must have known we were coming. Black Cat says as she looks over at Poison Ivy, who is squirming in her own pool of her crimson blood. Are you going to let her die? Black Cat mutters. I don't care. I am going to capture the Joker so I can interrogate him and find the main base of your boss, Jake said. He was about to web swing away and chase after Joker, but he thought he could use Poison Ivy powers and mind to back him up. He decided to save her. He needed more people to follow his cause. Jake slowly walks over to Poison Ivy and picks her up and bites her in the neck like a vampire. Poison Ivy loudly screams in pain as kicks around her legs to escape Jake's clutches. What are you doing? Black Cat screams out with her eyes wide open. I am marking her, Jake said as he wipes off the scarlet hair vixen's blood from his mouth. He had spider fangs, calicary, sticking out from the top of his teeth just like a funnel web spider. In a way, Jake marked his territory. He marked Poison Ivy. If she ever made one slight mistake to betray Jake, he could kill her with a snap of his fingers to speed up the venom infection inside her bloodstream. His own venom was now inside her bloodstream. She was kind of Jake's slave, but not really in that she was now part of Jake's fraction. Jake thought about gathering all of them villainous women in this new world and making them join him and his cause to rid this world of corruption. He also wanted to have a little fun with them. In every way possible, Jake enjoyed the women's body. There was nothing more amazing in this world than a sexy maiden. Let's go get this clown son of a bitch, Jake commands Poison Ivy and Black Cat to follow him into battle. They both nod their heads. They knew who was in command. They knew who was the alpha. Oh hey Spidey, I have a little surprise for you. Joker points at Dark Spider as he drives away in the school bus with a loud chuckle. Jake slightly turns around. Enough with your bullshit, you stupid clown. Bam, a wall exploded. Grrrg. Asterisk. A red and black symbiote titan beast slams through the cement wall of the warehouse and tackles Jake out of the warehouse. Crash. Cement walls break. Dark Spider. Cries out Black Cat with worry in her eyes as she runs after him. Carnage looks down at Dark Spider with bloodthirsty alien white eyes. Drool hangs out of its giant jaws. Blood covered its entire razor-sharp serrated teeth. This was going to be one hell of a battle. Chapter 59, Domination PT 6. Black Cat slashes at Carnage with her metallic retractable cat claws. The glove part of her leather and armored catsuit was reinforced with carbon steel and iron which did not rust or break. Even though she looked sexy in her black skin-tight leather catsuit, the suit itself was actually made skin-tight so she could be flexible, lightweight, and agile like a feline. It made her faster and the catsuit itself was filled with gadgets, even her razor-sharp earrings were weapons. Carnage angrily roars and screeches as he went to slap away Black Cat. Jake swiftly blocks Carnage's attack with his elbows to protect Black Cat. The skin on his elbows had transformed into hardened dragon scales fused with symbiote tendrils. His Spider-Man super strength held back Carnage, but the red and black symbiote beast was very powerful at its berserker state. Joker must have really made Carnage angry to be at such a high rate of rage. Maybe inject him with some kind of primal serum which took out the human side of Carnage's host. Black Cat mouth is wide open as she saw Dark Spider actually save her life. Was it possible that he actually had feelings for her? Or was she overthinking things? Dark Spider holds back Carnage with his mighty elbows, his body barely slides back. Both of their strengths were equal in symbiote terms, but it was obvious who was more powerful as Jake himself was constantly evolving. While Carnage stays at his original berserker form which didn't get stronger each second like Jake's rare symbiote bloodline and Spider-Man superpowers. Jake was about to show him who was the alpha. Really, is that all you got? Jake said as he released his elbow block. Carnage went in for a furious punch at Dark Spider's masked face. Watch out! Black Cat alerted Dark Spider. But he already knew what to do. He needed no one to barge into his fight. This was his fight alone. Jake quickly grabs Carnage's fist. Cars zoom by him and Carnage as the battle just begins. Roarg. Carnage is outraged that Jake is holding back its fist. Nothing has stand in Carnage ways in years. It always slaughtered and devoured all that was in its path. But Jake wasn't afraid of such a fearsome alien beast. Jake was much like this bloodthirsty ravenous beast but way more powerful and way more brutal. Jake crushes Carnage's fist and rips off his entire arms right from its socket. Blackish symbiote blood splutters all over Jake's demonic-looking face as he does a kung fu palm punch at the alien beast head, shattering its skull. More symbiote red and black blood splutters onto Jake's body. It was a bloody battle of immortals. Roarg. Carnage regenerates its head and ripped off arm and headbutts Jake. Dark Spider doesn't move a dim inch and coldly glares at Carnage with menacing red glowing eyes. Dark Spider headbutts Carnage back and its head explodes. Carnage's head regenerates again and it roars with anger beyond imagination which shook the ground to its core. It really wanted to kill Jake. Both Dark Spider and Carnage continue to fight on the streetways of New Gotham. Cars honk their horns and civilians scream for their lives as they see two symbiote beasts fighting each other. Dark Spider fought for justice while Carnage fought to kill anything that got in its way. Jake forms his Nerko katana and slashes away at Carnage. Carnage forms a symbiote battleaxe and blocks the sword slashes. Asterisk cling, clang, asterisk Dark Spider and Carnage slash each other all with everything they got. They formed all types of symbiote blade weapons ranging from daggers, swords, lances, hammers, and even scythes. It became clear that Carnage was in his berserker state. He was more amped up than usual. That is why Carnage was almost equal to Jake's dark powers. I've come here to devour you, Dark Spider. This is my turf. Now die. Carnage extended its arms and shots out symbiote spike projectiles from its knuckles. Jake's faces took the blunt hit of Carnage's fearsome attack. Blood leaked down Jake's face. He quickly regenerates his wounded eyes and face. No, you get away from him, you fiend. Black Cat tackles Carnage, which was a risky move. You idiot! What the hell are you doing? Jake was mind-blown that Black Cat would risk her own life to protect him. Carnage turns around and slashes Black Cat on her slender back. Gah! She yelps and screams in agony as her blood splashes out from her back. Long symbiote claw marks were seen on her skin. She falls to the cement floor. Dark Spider's eyes widen. Rage overtakes him. Seeing one of his girls being harmed made him go ballistic. As evil as Jake was, he actually hated those who harm his woman. Why did she do something so crazy? Damn it, now I am really pissed. Jake activates his Slayer eyes, but before he could, Carnage slashes off Jake's arm off with its symbiote claws. Carnage had made clones itself and sneaked attacked Jake from behind. Ha 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 ha, now this is a real show? All it is missing is fireworks. Joker drives the school bus onto incoming traffic and pushes aside nearby civilian cars. He ties up explosives around one of his henchmen and drives towards the Gotham Mall, which was full of people leaving the mall late after some holiday shopping. Hey, what the fuck? The clown-masked henchman yelled out with fear in his cracking voice. Other clown henchmen hold him back as he frantically kicks his legs and tries to take out the bomb strapped around his chest. Joker spins around a bomb detonator with a sick smile on his face. He wanted to test Dark Spider's mind. In an instant, Jake regenerates his right arm. Millions of symbiote tendrils wrap around each other like spider webs and form a new arm for Jake. It was an epic sight to see. Jake activates his Slayer eyes and planned to finish this swiftly, but he had to focus and get up close to Carnage, who was thrashing about, slamming nearby cars into the air. He needed to precisely spot out the lines of death on Carnage. People scream as they bounce around inside the tossed-up cars. The mortals screamed for their lives as they closed their eyes and accepted their fates as their cars fell down at a fast speed towards the streetway. Jake shots out symbiote spider webs from his wrist and wraps around 5 cars and secures them all by wrapping up the cars against nearby buildings. He did this so the people won't fall to their deaths. Everything right now was just pure chaos. Jake was preoccupied saving other human lives and forgot that Carnage was now charging him. Suddenly a large sea of tree vines wraps around Carnage. Poison Ivy had stopped Carnage dead on its tracks. Hurry up and kill him. Poison Ivy yells out as she holdbacks Carnage. Jake looks over at Joker, who was about to donate a bomb and kill everyone at the mall, and then looks over Carnage, who was tied down by Poison Ivy. His spider sense exploded with danger reaction signals. He had a choice to make. And he had to make it quick. Save hundreds or gain power like no other. A power that would be able to make his symbiote powers more godly than it already was. With the Carnage bloodline, he would be able to balance his own powerful unknown symbiote bloodline. It all came down to who Jake really was. Was he a hero? Or was he truly a monster? Only his choice will decide his fate and destiny. Every legend must endure life or death. They must endure responsibility for everyone, including themselves. Save others or save yourself. TCH. There is no turning back after this. I know what I must do, Jake says aloud to himself. He was always a warrior who never backed down from anyone or anything. Carnage was slowly breaking free from Poison Ivy's tree vines. What are you doing? If he gets out, we all are dead. Poison Ivy knew just how powerful Carnage can become in his berserker state. The angrier he became, the more powerful he became. Kind of like a symbiote Hulk. All of you will die. I am the ultimate insanity. I am Carnage. Carnage roars as it rips out of the hundreds of powerful tree vines entrapping its body. Now or never, Jake activates his Slayer eyes to its fullest potential. Damn, be it all. He knew he wasn't Spider-Man, he was entirely someone different. He was the Dark Spider. Chapter 60, Domination PT 7. Jake sees Carnage's lines of death. There was actually 2 strands of lines of death, one from the human host and one from the Carnage symbiote lifeform. Jake spins around his Necro-Katana and activates Speed Force fused with his Void Eyes. Known as Void Force, he was so fast that time itself froze. Jake easily finds the symbiote line of death strand and does a fierce ninja sword, slash with both of his hands at the hilt of his katana made up of sentient symbiotes. Swoosh, Jake slices the blackish symbiote line of death and also slashes Carnage on his head as it charges at him. Poison Ivy had actually slowed down Carnage with her vine attack. This gave enough time for Jake to pinpoint the symbiote lines of death. Black Cat had also helped out. Bless her fearless soul for fighting against Carnage. Carnage doesn't think much of the attack because all in his mind was to kill and devour Dark Spider. He wanted to take down the apex predator in front of him to show the world who was the more superior symbiote beast. In a flash, less than a second, Carnage's whole body shatters and cracks. He then explodes. Black and red symbiote blood rained the skies above. Carnage host Cletus Cassidy was seen face down on a pool of squirming symbiotes. Jake had separated the Carnage symbiotes from its host. Carnage quickly reforms itself, but it already was too late. You think you have won? You are a mere insect? You are a weak meatbag mortal. I will devour your soul. Carnage went to eat Dark Spider. Suddenly Dark Spider opens his jaws and bites off Carnage's head. He had devoured Carnage. Jake absorbs Carnage's symbiote head. He chews at his skull and crushes all the squirming symbiotes with his spider fangs and symbiote teeth. He accepted his monster side. He didn't care if anyone watched him become an apex predator and an alpha killer. Every person that Dark Spider saved cheered him on. Hell yeah, Dark Spider kicked that monster's ass, chanted one New Yorker man as he hangs on to his van, which was being held up by Jake's spider webs. Jake now turned his attention to Joker, who was driving the school bus to the mall. He ate that bastard alive, screams other civilians who were now scared of Dark Spider. Some people praised and respected Dark Spider. Others feared him. Jake now turns his attention to the Joker, who is driving full speed ahead to the mall that was filled with screaming civilians. Amongst the crowd of running people, Jake saw some familiar faces. He saw Raven, MJ, Gwen, and Rouge. Also, Peter and Miles were seen. Jake knew what he must do. He must save his comrades' lives. Not as a hero, but as a protector of this world. As the Dark Spider. He looks over at Black Cat, who was still injured. He web swings over to her, lifts her up on his back. He then quickly web swings on top of a nearby building and lays her down. I will be back, he said as jumps down and web slings over to the school bus, which crashed into the mall. The Joker had already escaped and left the bomber inside the school bus. Please someone save me, cries out the clown masked man. He has a bomb, screams out MJ and Gwen, who had terrified looks on their faces. Jake was inches away from the bus. Boom, the school explodes and the entire brick walls of the mall collapse on the running civilians. Raven couldn't use her powers in fear of her exposing her powers. She hasn't joined the Teen Titans yet. Rouge also couldn't use her powers because she was still learning how to control. All mercy went to Jake. This was a make or break moment. Shit, that clown bastard will pay for this. Jake's life flashes before his eyes as a strong blast of heat burns his face as he web-slings into the mall to save everyone. The Dark Spider had to do the impossible. Everyone in the mall was soon to be dead. Death stared them all down. Ha ha ha. Joker's laughter echoed across the midnight skies of New Gotham. Chaos masked this world.